Ford versus Chevy, Logano versus Larson. Green flag, 400 miles awaits.
Whoa, big block by Buescher. Looked like Chase Elliott was trying to make a move. That was close, Kevin.
Well, those restarts are going to be like that all day because these guys know that this is when the tires are the freshest. There's all that apron down there. It's very enticing, and you're going to see them 3, 4, and maybe even 5 wide today on the restarts.
Already a lot of 3 wide. How about that?
We're in the Nevada desert, so the sand blows constantly. It'll be there on that back straightaway, and we are 3 and all but 4 wide at the line with Truex and Elliott way down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Why are they pushing so hard? Because this is the best time to make hay. When these things are together, these restarts are always chaotic at Las Vegas because it's so hard once they get spread out to pass.
Well,
the time is now.
This is going to be the time when your car feels the best. The track's not rubbered up. You've got new tires on the race car, and this is when you're going to see the highest speeds probably all day come out of the leaders.
5th place battle. Briscoe, Wallace, Truex.
See Truex turn down right off the bumper of Bubba Wallace. These guys are getting after it.
Well, we see Kyle Larson going after the lead right here, and this is what we've talked about all weekend, Clinton. He got his car turned in the middle of the corner, was able to run the bottom of the racetrack and turn right under Joey Logano to take the lead in what we feel is probably the fastest car. And as we talked at the beginning of the race, we feel like it's also Kyle Larson against his right rear tires. Zane Smith with a tire down.
He's got some sort of trouble.
Yeah, we
that
stay
right rear
green.
down. I think he got in a wall. It may be a bent link there. Toe link, looks to me like he's been in a wall.
He drops to the apron in turn 2, and we stay green.
Well, we see his teammate Carson Hocevar there, and on the speed charts yesterday, those guys were really good on lap times. Well, Clinton, here's what we were talking about. Is Joey Logano going to be able to keep his car up in the front of the pack? Because last year, he had some trouble when the green flag drops, and they fell back.
Well, yeah, and who's he trying to hold off? That 24 car. We talked about it, and it's been noted last year. 24 and 5. William Byron, Kyle Larson. They were the show last year and look to be again this year.
Let's go back to Zane Smith and his issue.
Oh, he got loose.
Yep.
Overcorrected a little bit. Still, that could have been catastrophic, especially for all those guys behind him. They're all thanking him.
He has made it to pit road.
They're going to be replacing that toe link on the right rear for sure.
Michael McDowell, that yellow car, was charging hard way down on the apron on the front straightaway on each of the first 3 or 4 laps. And it has, well, he gained a couple, lost a couple. He's right about where he started.
Well, Michael McDowell's really aggressive on all the restarts, especially when we get to the road courses and some of those braking zones, but he also carries that over to the restarts and is very aggressive.
Trying to hold off Christopher Bell there, but Bell and Ryan Blaney move into the inside.
Well, you heard me say Larson and Byron, right? They're fast, duly noted. They've been fast here, and they're still fast. But I'm looking at these Toyotas. This Christopher Bell right here, prime example. They were a little bit off on the speed, but I think the handling is going to come into play in a big way for them today. Look for them to march forward, all of them.
Yeah, we've got a new right side tire here that Goodyear brought, as we see Ryan Blaney go three wide on the bottom of Christopher Bell and Michael McDowell. Bell lets off, moves up a lane. But that new right side tire, we don't really know exactly how far it's going to fall off. A lot of the predictions from the garage are about 1 second in 25 laps, as we see Christopher Bell get swarmed by the cars that were following him.
4th place, Martin Truex going after Austin Cindric.
Clint, that was somebody that you spoke about before the race. Is he your favorite, Martin Truex?
He certainly has to be one of them. He was good in practice. I like what I saw out of those race cars, but all of them, I mean it. All the Toyotas, I think, are come to play and are going to be a factor in the end of this race.
The winners of the last 3 races here run 1, 2, 3. Larson, Byron, Logano.
Got the old huckabuck in the middle there.
Jamie.
Yeah, and I talked to Paul Wolf and Joey Logano this morning about their car, and they said last year these 2 races at Las Vegas, we tried something different, and it wasn't great. So we actually went back to the setup very similar to when we won this race in 2022. And yesterday in practice, as you guys noted, the boards were down, including the 22. They were able to adjust on that race car and make some adjustments. And we've got a car slow on the track, Mike.
Right rear tire, guys. Christopher Bell.
Well, guys, this is exactly what we talked about in our meetings this morning. It's kind of a gamble on that right rear tire. How much load can I put through the bump stop, and how low can I get the air in that right rear tire? And everybody's going to push it, but I don't know if this is that situation. But we know that these guys want to run as little air as possible in that right rear tire, and this is the consequences that come with it sometimes.
Christopher Bell, one of the 2 or 3 favored Toyotas in this race, having right rear trouble. Let's see if he gets up against the fence or if the tire just goes on its own. Not much contact there.
Yeah, it looks like that tire was down. You kind of see the car pitch to the right rear and kind of wiggling around a little bit.
Could have been worse.
First caution flag of the day for Christopher Bell. NASCAR on Fox is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Bundle home and auto and save. And by Ford. Built Ford proud. 11 laps in Las Vegas. Caution at lap 10. And whoa, everybody's coming now. Regan Smith.
Mike, the 14 to Chase Briscoe right now fighting a number of things in that car. Turns 1 and 2, he's loose, but turns 3 and 4, he's tight. They're going to have to try and work on that. And the 24 of William Byron in second place. Car's unpredictable right now, and then it gets very tight after it's unpredictable. Jamie?
Kyle Larson in the 5, the race leader. 10 laps led so far. He says it's pretty good, just a little bit tight off 4, just keeping him posted on the wind direction. Meanwhile, the 22, Joey Logano, a little free on entry. Loose 1 and 2, tight off 4. That's typical at this point with the wind, guys.
Larry, can they make it to the end of this stage? Is that why we're doing this? Let's get back to
that.
that.
They cannot. They're going to have to get to about lap 18.
All right, pit stops after Christopher Bell loses a tire. How will that change everybody's strategy? NASCAR on Fox is sponsored by Credit One Bank and by Toyota. Let's go places. Going to be at least one more lap to the restart. Zane Smith got the free pass, got one of his 6 laps back after he bounced off the wall early, made a green flag stop. All right, pre-race conversations.
Take care of that thing back there today. Get some track position quick. Go to work. Copy that.
5 team, we got 400 miles today at Las Vegas. Be smart, be smooth. Let's be there at the end. Let's go.
You guys have a good day in there. Good luck. Yes, sir. Have fun out there. We'll fight with you all day long.
And more recently, during this caution flag, Kyle Larson and company.
It's just at the edge of the fuel window for anyone making it from here, so keep saving.
Okay.
Well, no matter how much we plan, we seem to always have a twist in everything that we've done so far this season, and now it's a caution today. Well, the other question that's going to pop up right here is how much air you can take out of that right rear tire based upon what happened with Christopher Bell. So that will be a conversation with the crew chiefs and the drivers and the engineers.
See some different cars up front, 2 tires out there. Look like the top 5 all took 2 tires. Let's see what they can do with this track position.
So everyone came to pit road except we mentioned Zane Smith. He stayed out. Everybody else came in. Chris Buescher out first. Chase Briscoe, Corey LaJoie, Tyler Reddick, Daniel Suarez are the front 5 on what will be the first restart of the day. And if the start of the race was any indication, this could get big.
Well, they're going to get more aggressive as we go through the day, because they know that they have to get the track position while they can, and here's an extra restart to do it.
And these guys got to be aggressive with their laps, their blocks, and things like that. On a deficit of 2 tires, they lose that track position, they're going to be in trouble. They'll be aggressive with this.
Three wide top, turn 2. Byron up there. And Larson. And more.
Well, I think that's an important pass right there, Clint, with William Byron getting by Kyle Larson. And I think up front, these guys on 2 tires, look at this. I don't know that that's going to work for them very long.
This might be
I don't know.
That's 4 or 5 cars passed in 1 lap. 1 corner, I mean, excuse me.
What a run, and that began back in turns 1 and 2.
Great
for
move.
William Byron.
Fantastic, love it. Here comes Larson on that outside.
Bottom shot, Corey LaJoie. Didn't work that time, but
you were all over that. Very important for Byron to get around Larson. Obviously, he's got work to do with Briscoe, LaJoie, everybody else that he passed, but getting in front of that 5 car that he knows is probably that car that he's going to have to beat. That was big moment for him.
Yeah. William Byron was 7th coming off pit road. Now he's the leader.
That was an unbelievable pass, as we see Martin Truex on the bottom 3 wide and gets stalled out, and now we're going to go all the way down the back straightaway 3 wide. See the flames out of the pipe of Joey Logano. I would consider the middle kind of no man's land at this particular racetrack through turns 3 and 4, and he gets up behind Austin Cindric.
Can't be in the wake of these race cars. We saw Larry tell us how important that diffuser is. Big block in the inside. Suarez.
And LaJoie steaming around the outside, bringing Bubba Wallace along for the ride.
Kevin,
whoa,
that was a pretty aggressive block right there. You got to be careful with them blocks. I don't care how fast your race car is.
Well, Kyle's already done the work to get by several cars, and he knew that if he got passed by Daniel Suarez right there, that he was going to have trouble, probably losing 2 or 3 spots if he let him go by. So he was very aggressive with the block and protected that position and didn't have to start over with passing those cars that he had already passed.
Well, you got to be careful of that aggression this early in this race. That could have ended badly for him.
1 penalty on pit stops. That was Todd Gilliland's crew over the wall too soon. So he had to restart out back. Byron, Briscoe, Larson. 1, 2, 3. Let's check with Larry Mack for our race strategy, sponsored by Keystone Light.
Yeah, Mike, split the 3 stages in half. Actually, maybe come a few laps shy of halfway to get that track position and take advantage of those stretch tires. It's Las Vegas. Don't be afraid to gamble. A late race caution like the last 2 spring races, maybe change just right side tires. Think about what Cliff Daniels just told Kyle Larson in all 3 stages. Once the window opens to make it on fuel and the caution comes out, make sure and pit pack the fuel, save under caution in case it goes caution-free to the end.
Well, right now they're sitting down there with their calculators and their strategy and everything that the engineers do in this situation. Is it going to be better to split what we have left? Do we have enough tires? Should we stay out and run the whole stage? Should we split the rest of this stage in half? There's all kinds of stuff going on.
Ryan Blaney almost got himself in big trouble. He crawled right up to the back bumper of Ty Gibbs, and you saw the flame out the pipes as Gibbs lifted over the bumps in 1 and 2, and that almost was contact.
Ryan Blaney always very aggressive behind the wheel with his passes and things like that. You never have to doubt his commitment in these race cars behind the wheel. He's got one he's trying to pass. It's the same way.
And you see those flames come out of the pipe again. And for those of you at home, that's a great indicator to be able to say, oh, he's all the way out of the throttle. When they let off the throttle, those flames come out of the exhaust pipes on the side of these cars.
Larry Mack?
Yeah, I want to follow up on what Kevin said. All the debate right now about strategy. And think about this. They only have 9 sets of tires to work with today. And one of those is the qualifiers from yesterday, which I'd rather not use. I think if you can make it to the end of this stage, I think you absolutely try to run it to the end and make sure you don't start using tires up too early.
Yeah, and that's the debate. And I think you definitely want to have tires when you get to the end of this race, because if you don't and somebody else does, you're going to get beat not only by a couple tenths, you're going to get beat by over a second.
Larry, 10 laps in, we saw Christopher Bell lose a right rear tire, and our guess is not enough air in that tire to start the race, trying to get grip and not so much worried about wear. When you see that happen to a car you know is going to contend here, how does that change your game?
I grabbed the air gauge and the air hose right away. But you think about this, Mike, there's things that's done to that race car that you can't change. The only thing you have control over now is air pressure. Goodyear tells these teams do not go lower than 46 PSI in the right rear. They know they're going lower than that. To Kevin's point earlier, they did make a change for durability, but that's about the only thing you can do, Mike, now is put air pressure in the tire.
Thanks, Larry. 25 laps complete. The Hendrick Chevys of William Byron and Kyle Larson out in front of the field by 3 seconds in Las Vegas. For the second time in Las Vegas, that is Christopher Buescher's RFK Racing Ford. Watch the right front as he rolls through the banking here, and you'll see what happened.
A big lift right there already. I think he knew something was going on. What it was, that right front wheel falls off. See the lug nut fall off right with it. Wheel comes off.
Well, that's a great camera work by our guys to catch what is happening right there. You see
there's the lug nut, and here comes the wheel, and the wheel's cut in half. So that was like that for a little bit. You could tell he lifted hard and was already starting to slow down. He felt it probably start vibrate pretty violently, and then it came off.
He had taken only right side tires on his pit stop. So he's got some pretty heavy damage there.
Yeah, he hit hard. He's hooking the record up to it. I'd say his day's done.
From spoiler cam on Tyler Reddick's car.
That's a weird one.
Yeah, that's a tough one to speculate on what happened right there. We'll have to get some pretty good analysis from the team somewhere down the road, because I don't even know where to start to tell you exactly what happened. Jamie?
Yeah, Kevin, I'm in their pit box right now, and Chris Buescher just got out of the car, went up on top of the box, and I saw the team look at him. They just watched the pit stop back. They said they did not get it tight, and that was the problem.
Thanks, Jamie.
That'll be a penalty for those guys as well.
Yeah, because when the wheel comes off outside of the yellow lines on pit road, that's when the penalty comes into play.
That penalty's 2-week penalty for up to NASCAR's discretion of who they're going to penalize. Usually a changer, maybe the jack guy, always a little bit different, obviously off the scenario, and then a 2-lap penalty, but that one's already served.
So these 18-inch wheels use a single center lock wheel nut. Larry Mack can explain.
Well, let's go to our Toyota Camry cutaway car, and we will show you exactly what happens with this Gen 7 car with the single lug nut. On the back side, there's 18 drive pin holes, and there's 6 drive pins. They have to seat into those drive pin holes. You have that locking mechanism right there. When you put the tire and wheel up there and you put the lug nut on, the lug nut should go all the way across that locking mechanism, and it should pop up. But sometimes it won't be all the way on. It won't be seated in those drive pin holes. The lug nut will go on there, but the locking mechanism is not engaged, and it may take several laps, but eventually it completely comes off, as I think we saw there. You can actually see the lug nut bouncing up the racetrack.
Yeah, it's a good fail-safe system, Larry, but when you're trying to change 4 tires in 9 seconds, things happen. No one has chosen to pit here. By riding this out under caution, they should be able to go to the end of stage 1 without a stop. So while the track crew works on the wall, we'll take a break from Las Vegas, where William Byron and Kyle Larson are out front. Welcome back to the Pennzoil 400, presented by Jiffy Lube at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Now, I said they could stay out to the end of the stage. I didn't say they would. Suarez does. Most everybody else comes to pit road.
It's like Suarez and McDowell. A few others at the back.
Regan.
Mike Chase Briscoe's car has swung to loose right now. That last change helped him out, but now the back won't keep up with it. He needs help with that. The 24, William Byron, he is too loose as well. Consistently loose to the corner, and it was a late call to put scuff tires on that car. Jamie?
Corey LaJoie in the 7, they took 2 tires on that first stop. They were going to stay out here, but opted to pit with everybody else. The 5 of Kyle Larson took 4 last time. It'll be 4 again this time.
Pretty congested there leaving pit road with all but 1 car on the lead lap. 4 drivers stayed out. Suarez, McDowell, Nemechek, and Yaley. Today's aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear, powering the race from green to checkered flag and every mile in between. Goodyear, more driven. 32 laps complete. Let's go back to the restart and watch William Byron come up through the field from 8th on the restart.
The reason we want to show you this because it's going to happen again on this next restart with the cars staying out, and the other guys putting on new tires. But William Byron, this all worked out perfect for him. You'll see Kyle Larson try to go to the middle, start to get tight, and William Byron is there on the outside and gets by what we think is his biggest competitor in Kyle Larson.
He's not done taking advantage of that either. Watch this momentum. Stays up high on the outside, and man, he starts slicing and dicing, baby.
Here's the big move right here. Top all the way to the bottom, that elevator move.
Big crossover move. Chris Buescher didn't get the block right there. Had to lift just a little bit, but man, took that baby to the front. Passed them all, one corner.
That's how you go from 8th to 1st in one lap on the restart. Daniel Suarez, last week's winner, running up front. 4 drivers stayed out. We'll see how they restart. Saturday, it's a huge regular season finale on Fox. First, 12th ranked Creighton takes on Villanova at 2:30 Eastern. Then at 5, 5th ranked Marquette battles Xavier. And in primetime, 3rd ranked UConn faces Providence. Saturday on Fox. Here in Las Vegas, 32 laps complete. There's the AMR safety crew on the scene. And if we widen out just a bit, you'll see the welder truck parked at the bottom of the banking so they can get his equipment up there to repair the wall. Now, because of that, they have red flagged the cars and stopped them on the back straightaway so that this work can be completed in a minimum amount of time.
Well, since they're stopped, let's try to talk to Kyle Larson while he's sitting on the back straightaway. Kyle, Kevin Harvick up in the Fox booth, and we're trying to explain how racing actually works with Clint. Can you tell us the difference between how your car was yesterday and how this race started today?
My car so far feels pretty similar to yesterday. Yesterday I was more tight in 2-3 with the wind and tied off at 2. I think the wind is more from blowing from 2 to 4, and then yesterday was kind of 1 to 3. So right now I'm kind of getting tight off of 4. So just monitor that, monitor the flags here on these campers, and try to pay attention to see how the car might change throughout the race.
I like it. Now, being as you guys were having a little fun at my expense, now I'm going to have some at yours, Kyle. How about your teammate there getting on the outside of you and passing about 8 cars down there in 3 and 4? Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, I remember doing that at timer 3 to you when you were racing.
All right.
Up in the notebook and try and do a better job.
Bam! You're getting better at this. I like that. We'll let you get back to work, buddy. Good luck out there.
Yeah, thanks.
It's just a flesh wound, right?
Merely a flesh wound. That one cut deep.
All right, now Daniel Suarez started 16th. He took on 2 tires at lap 12, and that jumped him from 18th to 5th at the lap 31 caution. He is the first of the drivers who did not pit and stayed out. Now he's the leader. Coming off the closest first, second, third finish in auto racing history. Let's go back and take a look at the Atlanta race in '90. Beautiful day for racing in Atlanta. A completely different super speedway racing experience awaits 37 drivers. Green flag, Michael McDowell leads them to turn 1. Trouble! One car slides to the infield.
Man, that is not what a lot of these guys wanted to see early. This is a big wreck.
We're back under green. Hamlin sliding down toward the apron in turn number 1, and caution is out. Hold your breath. Michael McDowell started from pole. Here he comes to the end of stage 1. He gets the green and white checkered flag. Crash! William Byron and Michael McDowell have crashed on the apron. No, Logano, Buscher, Hamlin pile up on the last lap of stage 2. Austin Cindric will win the stage.
Really nice work there, guys.
Let's try 4 wide.
4 wide.
Yes.
Lead. Cindric, clear.
These guys are not lifting.
The speed in the 14 makes him dangerous. He's able.
Whoa.
There he goes. He's around. It's kind of a dart without feathers.
The 4 and the 9 goes for a double spin there. Whoa, close call. That just lifted Carson Hosa.
Yeah, it was amazing. Wow. You can't afford to lift now.
You're going to have to lift in 3. We're going to find out.
1 lap to go.
Here it comes, Kyle Busch shooting a gap.
3 wide. Off
Look at
turn
this.
4. Photo finish. Unbelievable. That's too close to call.
Race clear is the 99.
How about that? Daniel Suarez. They say at Atlanta the phone has been ringing off the hook for tickets to the next race.
That's an easy sell there.
Yeah, when you look back at that finish, every time I watch it, I'm speechless, and I'm speechless again. And I think when you look at Daniel Suarez and his team and what it means to them, it's a huge shot in the arm because it takes the pressure off. They're in the playoffs. They know that they can experiment a little bit, but we heard Daniel say this in the pre-race. He knows he needs to win more throughout the season, and I think that's really where their focus is how can we take that and win at more racetracks throughout the whole year and not just one a year.
Well, I think you're seeing it. Look at this. The momentum, the wave that comes with those wins, the confidence, Kevin, looking for another contract with Trackhouse Racing, all happens with a big win like that in Atlanta.
Well, he talked about the importance of winning when we went under the helmet with Daniel Suarez.
When it comes to winning a race, there is that feeling. There is that special feeling that nothing else can give it to you, and you cannot buy. You know, it's a feeling of winning, of those hours and sacrifice and discipline paying off, and that's a feeling that I think only sports can give it to you.
And so cool to win that early in the season. Takes the weight off of Suarez's shoulders, and now more to come. All right, looks like repairs are close to completion on the safer barrier up in turn 1. Let's check in with Shannon in the studio.
Well, if you had that on your bingo card in the casino
that was not on there.
You win. Daniel Suarez just kind of picking up where he left off. I know it's early in the race, but momentum is a big thing.
Well, they've used a little bit of pitch strategy to obviously get to the lead, but he's run well the entire race. And you talk about momentum in racing, and he has it right now, being able to get that win at Atlanta last weekend. And you know, there's been a lot of conversation about the pressure that's been on Daniel Suarez because of how well Ross Chastain has run. And I know Justin Marks came out and said he's our guy, but I can tell you there's pressure as a driver, no matter what your owner's saying. You want to perform equal to your teammates. So it's cool to see him be able to have that great run at Atlanta, and he's followed up with another great run today at Vegas.
Yeah, he said in the pre-race show when Chris and the guys talked to him that this was a really big race for them to kind of figure out where they are, because you do have sort of that asterisk around Atlanta and Daytona because it's the drafty type tracks.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt those are in their own category of types of racetracks. He wants to run well at a track like Las Vegas, though, because we have a lot of 1.5 mile tracks. And really, when we say it every year, the season starts when you get away from a Daytona or a drafting style track. It'll start today.
And you have to give an attaboy, too, to Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch. I know they took those 2 tires, able to get up front.
Yeah, the race has fallen their way at this point.
It sure is. We'll get back to the guys in the booth after the break. Stick around.
Spring football on the way with the United Football League. March 30th on Fox. USFL champ Birmingham Stallions take on XFL champ Arlington Renegades in the new United Football League this spring on ABC, ESPN, FS1, and Fox beginning March 30th. We're set for the restart in Atlanta. And hold your breath, because Suarez, McDowell, and Nemechek did not pit. And Suarez took only 2 tires when he pitted at lap 12. Wow. Everybody behind them has either stickers or scuff tires just put on.
I think those guys are going to get run over. That's my prediction right here.
Kyle Larson is the first with 4 tires, and he restarts 5th. Here we go. Here comes Denny Hamlin with a pair of fresh tires on the bottom in the 11.
Yeah, first time we've seen him, but look at Byron out on that outside again. You know that battle between Larson and Byron's going to be heated up. Who can get through this traffic better? Larson beat him out of the pits. It was a big pit stop for them.
Yeah, and right now Daniel Suarez, who has cleared the pack and able to get himself out front, is kind of protected by all those guys on 2 tires. And, you know, we see see some close contact there with the 3 wide up on the top. I can't tell who that is.
Looked like Reddick, or no, excuse me, Bubba Wallace got tight.
And it was Byron way up top, just the way they are now. Did he get the wall? That's the question.
I think he got moved up and into the wall.
And we think so. Watch the 24, upper left. And
woo!
Just scraped it. No harm, no foul.
I don't think that's enough to bend a toe link or anything like that. I agree. No harm, no foul. I like we're seeing Daniel Suarez in the clean air that he got. That is the goal number 1. If you got this clean air and you're at a deficit on tires, and you start up front, you better come off a 2 in the lead.
McDowell hanging tough in 3rd. Nemechek 6th.
Yeah, and I really thought those guys were going to be in a lot bigger trouble than they actually were. And maybe some of that red flag cool-off period back there gave those guys a little protection against the guys that were on the new tires and getting some of the temperature out of their tires, because they took off way better than
Look at this crossover. Kyle Busch to the inside, 3 wide for the lead. Excuse me for 2nd.
And Busch will clear them coming off turn 4.
The old 2 for 1. Thank you very much. Boy, that's frustrating for Martin Truex, though. Trying to make a pass, and here they come drafting up behind you, pounce on you.
And you see Kyle Larson go to that middle lane, and he forces Michael McDowell to go up the racetrack, because Kyle knew that he did not want to enter on the bottom of the racetrack directly behind Martin Truex Jr. So you want to go where they're not, and Kyle Larson's below Martin now.
So McDowell and Nemechek kicked back to 5th and 6th, while Suarez, the other car that stayed out, continues to lead. Halfway, stage 1. Kyle Busch coming to the front. He draws a bead on race leader Daniel Suarez. Didn't look to the inside this time in turn 3, but Busch is there. Regan Smith.
Well, Mike, we've documented that big win for Daniel Suarez a week ago. He told me this morning that did a lot for them in terms of being able to try some different things. That race car today has some setup stuff in it that they would not normally have tried this early in the season. But with a win already in the pocket, they can feel some things out, try some new things to get better when they come here later this year. Some of that could also be considered maybe staying out with no tires at certain times in the race.
Well, he made a move, a block there on Kyle Busch, and when you do that at Vegas, that's kind of like tugging on Superman's cape.
Well, it also slows your momentum down. If you're Kyle Busch, you saw him approach him, caught him with a lot of speed, a lot of momentum. As soon as he got blocked off, he stalled out. Look at it. Now Truex is on his bumper.
Yeah, and Daniel did a great job there holding him back. And when you get checked up like that and you lose that momentum, it just swallows you up with the guys behind you. And now that Kyle Larson is coming on 4 tires,
now you're in trouble.
You're going to be in big trouble.
Going to make a move to the inside.
You see Kyle go up the racetrack because he, like we talked earlier, he does not want to be in that wake. And Daniel missed the bottom of the racetrack right there, and Kyle was able to get the preferred line through 3 and 4. Still hasn't cleared him.
Kyle Busch led that lap, and here comes Kyle Larson to the bottom, looking for 2nd on Suarez as we look at our Xfinity fastest lap so far. Larson, Logano, Byron, Cindric, and Wallace. Larson to 2nd. It's the Kyle and Kyle show. Christopher Bell there with Bubba Wallace on the way back toward the front. Bell in 12th place now, that green car.
Christopher was our first caution with a flat right rear tire, and since then he has made a pretty nice rebound to get back towards the front. And we obviously thought that Christopher was going to be a car to beat today, and he is doing that right now, driving himself back towards the front of the pack.
Well, a lot of times when you battle through some adversity like that and you can make it out of the other end, it always is a good sign moving forward.
Tells you how fast your car is.
That's exactly right. Where that tire blew out on him on the exit and not necessarily in the corner, didn't get in the wall. Very lucky, come out of that unscathed.
Corey LaJoie, the Chili's cam, he was battling there with Denny Hamlin for 8th place.
And here, John Hunter Nemechek have to get out of the throttle as he gets tied up off the corner.
See, Kyle Larson tried him on the inside, had some momentum. Busch moved down and blocked his entrance, and look how far that car took off. You lose the nose in these things, it's hard. Got to lift out of the gas. Clean air is so important. It's like Byron has picked up a trash bag or something. A lot of debris with all this wind out here.
And he has reported he is overheating. Larry.
Yeah, he may be overheating, but he is complaining. He said absolutely just plowing. But yeah, that's got the whole nose covered right there.
We're going to have to pit.
Wow.
21 may not know your pit. Pennzoil.
Busch and Larson continue to battle. Byron makes it on to pit road. Wow, if it wasn't for bad luck, Regan.
And Mike, when he came on the radio and said he had the debris on the grill, the team immediately jumped up on the wall. The report from William Byron, the temp was 350 when he came down the front stretch last time already.
That's high. Yeah, that's hot.
Larson working him over pretty hard. Kyle Busch is doing a great job slowing this momentum, blocking his runs.
One thing to go back on the William Byron situation with everything that is going on with the engine, that engine will actually go into conserve mode and actually take power away, because when it gets hot, it doesn't want to burn itself up. So the EFI will actually correct the engine and take power away to try to keep it from burning itself down. Protection mode.
Well, if that engine lasts the day after going to 350-degree water temp, that will be pretty impressive.
The temperature's one thing. That starts blowing water out of it with the water pressure today's day and age. With these pressurized systems, that's when you're in trouble.
50 laps complete, this time by Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez. 3 Chevrolets leading the field in Las Vegas. NASCAR on Fox is sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Leaders coming to 24 to go in stage 1. You saw Ross Chastain right up to and getting friendly with the bumper of Michael McDowell, trying to make a pass back there at what was then 12th place. Busch and Larson continue to run 1-2, keeping close tabs on one another. Third is a battle, Reddick and Truex. Then Hamlin and Gibbs. Suarez, who stayed out and led at the restart, back to 7th. LaJoie, Cindric, and Christopher Bell in position to score stage points right now.
Well, it seems like Ross Chastain is headed forward, and that was our pole sitter, Joey Logano. He's headed backwards since the race has started, so they've missed the handling on their car at the start of this race.
Yeah, it seems like the Fords, you know, they have the speed. There's no question about it. They have the speed, but don't have the downforce figured out quite yet with that new body.
Well, based upon everything that we had going on last year with the Fords, at these type of racetracks, the cars won't turn in the corner like you need them to turn in the corner. So it's just it was a little bit slow to react last year, and in traffic it would just amplify that. So it seems like they might be fighting some of those same problems.
Austin Cindric is the highest placed Ford right now in 9th.
You know, Austin noted it, saw that on the points when we were looking at that earlier. I mean, he's off to a great start. Austin Cindric, that 2 car, a lot better than they've been.
Well, he had a top 5 run here last year and really kicked off his season to a pretty good start over the first couple of weeks, and like you say, able to put himself in a good position, and that's what he needs.
John Hunter Nemechek, one of the 3 cars that stayed out, now in 12th place.
Yeah, we're starting to see those guys that stayed out start to slip back a little faster than some of the guys that aren't having the handling issues like they are because of the fact that their tires are just a little bit older.
The other car that stayed out was Michael McDowell. He's now back in 20th. Jamie?
Martin Truex Jr. in the 19 running 4th right now. 2-time winner here. They too, meaning Toyota, has that new body. And yes, this is the 3rd race of the season, but they said this is the true test. Will our downforce numbers truly match our competition? Will we have a play in the game? And right now they said a little bit tight, but he feels pretty good. Happy with the car, the balance overall for the 19, Regan.
What a run back through the field for Christopher Bell, who just broke back into the top 10 a little while ago. The report from the driver on his car is that it is very good. No complaints about the car. He's had this race circled before the season even started to get to Vegas, and he's proven why right now.
Boy, Kyle Busch does not want to give up this lead.
Larson did a good job getting to his outside. I thought he was going to roll right by him, but no, sir. Kyle Busch holding tough on that bottom. Finally gets the job done. Kyle Larson, your leader.
Larson's already led for 11 laps. Kyle Busch has led for 19.
Well, Clint, we're starting to see these Toyotas work their way forward. You got Tyler Reddick and Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin and Ty Gibbs, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. And this is what we've been waiting for on this downforce style racetrack, to see what the Toyotas could do on the long run, because we felt like they were carrying more downforce than some of the other cars based upon their speed.
Yeah, and with downforce, it's drag, right? Pretty draggy in the car. Some of the drivers even commented on it. Don't see that speed on qualifying day, but on these long runs where handling comes into an issue, they really start marching to the front. Let me spit it out there.
18 laps to go in the stage. There's the fight to stay in the top 10 and get some stage points. We're going to take you Fox side by side. 12 laps to go to the end of stage 1. 3 drivers trying to stretch it on fuel mileage. Daniel Suarez in 14th place. John Hunter Nemechek 16th. Michael McDowell in 27th. Will they make it to the end of the stage? We'll see. Christopher Bell up into the top 10. That's Ross Chastain trying to go by for 8th place.
Ross Chastain has been moving. He is going forward in a hurry here at the end of this run. He just ran 31.08. Let's see what this lap is. 31.37. So he slowed down a little bit with the pass.
That car right behind him is too, following suit. He just keeps getting better with more clean air, more speed. Likes what he sees.
Chastain restarted 22nd. Bell restarted 25th. They're in the top 10. They are the biggest movers since the restart.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that, it just took a little bit longer for those guys on the old tires that stayed out to go backwards. But you're starting to see the 4 tires start to move themselves forward. The really good cars that were able to do 2 tires like Kyle Busch have kind of kept themselves towards the front of the pack.
Good gamble, just a little too many laps for it to be able to pay off for them.
Yeah, like Michael McDowell, he's fallen back all the way to 29th. He's really put the anchor out at the end of this run.
Kyle Busch is the one that it's impressed me.
Yeah.
Holding tough right there. I did not necessarily. Whoa, you see that car is pretty nervous up off the corner. Got loose.
Now Joey Logano restarted 16th. He is in 11th, but he's having some issues.
Getting a bit of a vibration here. How many laps to go? The vibration's getting worse.
Well, Clint, for whatever reason at this particular racetrack, it always seemed like you got that Vegas vibration. And you have tire vibrations at Las Vegas and at Texas Motor Speedway, where you have that really heavy banking and high corner speeds. And sometimes as you get to the end of these runs, you hope it's not that right rear tire, but as you get to the end of these runs, it starts to vibrate a little bit.
Denny Hamlin pulling down on Ty Gibbs. That's for 5th place. And the battle for the free pass is William Byron, who's just made it past J.J. Yaley. So Byron, after having that huge trash bag covering up his grill and the water temperature shooting skyward, Byron will get back on the lead lap the next time the caution waves.
Definitely important spot right there. Getting back on that lead lap conversation. Problem is, will these leaders start lapping other cars? 7 to go.
Next car to go a lap down would be Kaz Grala in the 15. And yes, that would change that free pass picture.
William Byron's laps are still really good. We're on board with Tyler Reddick here, and you know that his car is pretty good. He's coming forward, but when it's on the bottom of the racetrack here, you know he's got a pretty good car because he'd rather run at the top.
Pretty good's an understatement. Tyler Reddick is rolling right now. That 45 car is bad fast. Starting to hear more conversations about these guys having vibrations. I think, Kevin, we've noted it. Usually around lap 30 in a run, those right rear tires, we've seen them. They go flat.
And one of those drivers is Daniel Suarez, who got right rear tires at lap 12. His left sides have been on the entire race so far.
That's a bad feeling.
And this is a long run, and the tires are going to wear out. So as the tires, you know, that right rear tire a lot of times will wear all the rubber off of the right rear right down to the cord. So you just don't know where the cars are at this point because of the length of the run. It could be to that point.
There's the drop off of the cars that did not come in for at least 2 tires on the lap 27 caution flag. 5 to go in the stage. Larson, Reddick, Busch, Truex, Gibbs, the front 5. Pretty good gap back through the top 10, anchored by Austin Cindric, as they look for stage points here 4 laps from now.
Guys, things have changed here a little bit, and you're going to see it right here with Kyle Larson. He's running the top of the racetrack, so see him above that top seam right there, running against the fence. And if this migrates into being the fast lane, the guy running first and second will be the best at it. Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick.
Now we know we don't have team orders in NASCAR, but if Kyle Larson comes up and laps Kaz Grala, that will deny Larson's teammate William Byron the free pass.
I'd lap him.
Chatter about that?
I'd lap him.
Okay.
You know why? Because I think he's my biggest competitor. So I would do everything I can do.
He's a teammate, Kevin.
That's okay. I'm lapping him.
I got your number now.
I tell you who's got the number, and that's the 45 car of Tyler Reddick, but here's a battle for third.
Busch, Truex, and Gibbs all fighting for third here.
Woo.
That's
Two to go.
That's a bold move by Ty Gibbs, trying to go three wide right there, but I think that was a smart move to lift out of the throttle, but he's also got a really fast car.
Yeah, they're coming. I mean, that was the question I needed to see. Can these Toyotas take advantage of the downforce that they have on these longer runs? And look here, deep into a run, here they come, all of them. 1, 2, 3 of them trying
Ty's
to
going to have a
Kyle
huge
Busch.
run off this corner off the top of the racetrack.
Got a little tight on the exit, but a lot of momentum down here.
1 to go in stage 1. Kaz Grala should be able to stay on the lead lap. And that's important to William Byron.
Thing I like about all this, Clinton, is how we can move all over the racetrack. We've got cars on the top, bottom, middle, everywhere.
We may have a new leader coming to the flag for stage 1. Tyler Reddick sweeps up behind Kyle Larson and will not take the stage win. Larson gets it side by side for third. Give it to Truex over Busch, Hamlin, and Gibbs. Remember that Kyle Larson swept both stages here last fall when he went on to win here in Las Vegas. Stage 1 is complete in the Pennzoil 400 presented by Jiffy Lube at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Here's Jamie Little.
Well, Mike, Daniel Suarez couldn't have won that race last week without his crew hitting their marks on pit road. So let's meet Team 99 for Trackhouse.
Josh Bush, front tire changer, former All-American at Wake Forest University, and Super Bowl 50 champion with the Denver Broncos.
Seth Godoris, rear tire changer, last week's winners and the closest 3-wide finish in NASCAR history.
Charlie Plank, tire carrier, survivor of the 38 truck at Talladega last year. Didn't skip a beat, great to go.
Josh Appleby, Jackman, punter, University of Louisville, 2-time CrossFit Vitality Throwdown champion.
Milan Radonovich, fueler of the 99 car for Daniel Suarez, former Rutgers football player.
And that's the team that got Daniel Suarez in position to win in Atlanta last week. In stage 1, 4 Chevys, 5 Toyotas, and Austin Cindric's Ford scored stage points. There's the Toyota Camry XSE that leads the field here at Las Vegas.
A little bit tricky, Kevin. All right, crew chief's asking me what they need, right? What kind of adjustments you need on a race car? Well, I don't really know. I had 2 tires. I had scuff tires on. A lot of scenarios that I haven't felt on these cars in a long time. Kind of hard to give that feedback.
Well, you should have a pretty good read on everything that's happening with today's conditions, with the sun being out and the less wind, and in a whole run there. I know that the scuff tires and the 2 tires are going to give you a little bit of a misread, but overall you should have had a pretty good view of everything that's happening, and also know if you can pull some strategy at the end of the race. But those guys were able to hold on for a pretty short amount of time with the 2 tires, and they cycled right back through the field as the run went on. And so I think that the 2 tire strategy is going to be something that you have to do only for a really, really short amount of time.
And keep in mind that Suarez and McDowell and Nemechek have an extra set of tires because they did not stop on the last caution. They have at least an extra pair over most of the teams here.
And that could come into play later in a race. You just never know how these cautions are going to fall. Last year we had a pretty straightforward race. The cautions didn't fall, and they green flag pit stops. And in this one we hadn't had a green flag pit stop. So this has been a pretty interesting start.
All right, 33 cars on the lead lap, and most all of them will come to pit road right now. Regan.
Like Kyle Busch went through a number of different transitions through that run, ultimately ending up 2 loose on exit in the middle just a little bit. Team told them they felt that was because of the 2 tires that they took on the previous stop. And Denny Hamlin is not bad right now. Told his guys we're just a little bit too tight up top and through the center at the end of the run. Jamie?
Tyler Reddick's in a hole when it comes to points. Their goal was to get some stage points and finish this one out. So far, so good. Second on the board. They'll tighten him up just a little bit. Kyle Larson said he had less grip because of the scuffs that last run. They're going to tighten him up just a touch.
You see Tyler Reddick, I saw he got into the box, kind of pointed the wrong direction and too close to the wall, couldn't get out, had to back up. Costly mistake for Tyler Reddick.
1 lead lap driver did not pit, Kaz Grala. So he is the leader at the moment. Denny Hamlin wins the race off pit road. Kyle Larson picking up right where he left off here last fall with a stage 1 win. NASCAR on Fox is sponsored by Credit One Bank. 85 laps complete, end of stage 1. Kaz Grala has made his pit stop, so Martin Truex is the race leader. Let's have a look at what's new on Kevin Harvick's podcast.
Typically, you want Mike Joy to call most of the last lap because nobody really wants to hear us call the last lap. Mike does a much better job at that. And Clint got so excited and so jacked up, and it was just, that was all natural Clint. And he was going crazy, and I put my arm around him because I kind of got up and I'm like, oh, this is pretty exciting. And he's making me excited, and I didn't want to get in the middle of those two talking, so I just kind of let it all play out and watch the end of the race.
Well, let's hope the fans were excited too. Join Kevin every Tuesday and Thursday for NASCAR's #1 on the charts podcast, Happy Hour, presented by NASCAR on Fox.
Yeah, we've been having fun with that the last couple of weeks. We got SVG on this week to talk about everything he's done in his racing career, and who knows where we'll go. We'll tell you our secret word that we already got in.
Hey, who knows? Steve Phelps may stop by your podcast one week.
That would be lit.
Stop by our booth. Yeah,
I'd say he'll come by. Regan?
Well, Mike, what a fantastic stop for Denny Hamlin's guys in the 11 car. Picked him up some spots on pit road there. AJ Rosini, front tire changer. What is the intensity like when you're out there having to stop like that?
Man, it's crazy. It's a great feeling to come out, competing for first place after a good pit stop. That's what we live for. That's what we train for. That's what we work for. That's it. It's a great feeling.
All smiles down here, Mike.
Well, and here's a look at it.
I love that. I love that they just did a pit stop, and Regan is down there a minute after they just completed the stop, and what a look inside the sport. Those guys on the pit crew are so important to the success of your day.
9.94 seconds.
There you have it.
You know what that equals? P1, baby. Thank you, boys. They come a lot easier in that pit area than they do out here.
All right, there's a look at the Monster Energy Cam on board Tyler Reddick. We listened in there.
Is there anything on the pit box coming in? Like it just locked the fronts up. Too much different than the last one. No, that's different. Situation again where they're having somebody come around them. We just need to get pointed out. Worry about not carrying so much speed. Just get pointed out. Make sure we're short. See what he can do to help a little bit. But obviously we're all stacked up here in a bad spot.
Thank you, Tyler Reddick. I appreciate that confirmation because I just had the argument with my counterpart here in the booth. The front tires locked up because these pit boxes are so slick that is so easy to do.
Yeah, look at this. Really tight quarters here, almost 4 wide. You see Ty Gibbs coming out. I think there's a little bit of contact off the side of Kyle Larson.
Yeah. But the big loser here was Reddick. He came in second. He went out 16th.
Yeah, it was big. I noticed it. I didn't see the front tire lockup, Kevin, but I definitely noticed that car. He had those lines in his pit box, and it was a good 2 feet inside of where it needed to be.
Yeah, well, if you need my glasses, you can borrow them.
Hey, Corey LaJoie will restart 4th after a 9.9 second stop. Those Fire Boys, they are on it.
Absolutely.
Here we go, stage 2. Truex, Hamlin. .34 cars on the lead lap with the addition of William Byron, who got the free pass and is back in contention. 2 Toyotas, 2 Chevys, and then the rest of the field.
Well, LaJoie making a move on the outside of Martin Truex Jr. for second. Clear. Spire Motorsports, great job.
Great stop, put him in position to make that move. Corey last week cemented his first 2 consecutive top 15 finishes, Daytona and Atlanta.
Oh, you see him get spooked right there. A late move by Martin Truex Jr. and Corey kind of pulled that car up from going all the way to the bottom, and Martin Truex Jr. is going to get position on the inside of him here down the front straightaway.
Jamie?
Yeah, and just to update Corey LaJoie, what a run for him. This is a good measuring stick for this team. We expect them to be good on those drafting tracks like he did the last 2 weeks, but he is so happy with the car, you guys. He said, I don't want any adjustments. My entry is good. I think he's the only driver that has not complained yet today.
3 wide for second place here. as Kyle Larson tries to take advantage of the Truex LaJoie battle. And Blaney right behind them. Kyle Busch down to the apron. Wow.
Well, we talked about Ryan Blaney yesterday and his long run speed, and obviously he's fired off pretty well on this particular restart, and I think that could play well as we see Corey LaJoie get tight off of turn 2 and Ryan Blaney underneath him going into 3.
Going to get him another one. Yeah, you told me yesterday, Kevin, we were talking about the Fords. Where are the Ford Mustangs? Who's strong, who's not? That Blaney car in a long run, that was the one that you pointed out.
Well, Ryan Blaney has had the best Ford the second half of last year, and he was always the best Ford for the most part in the races, and here he is again leading the Ford charge. There's always two parts to these runs, and we saw at the end of the last run the Toyotas really start to move forward, and now they've worked themselves forward to be able to maintain that position on these restarts. We saw Kyle Busch talk about his car getting loose. Most likely that's coming from the right rear tire getting burned off. We see Ty Gibbs up in 6th, and I think when these guys have the control of the race, I think that's going to be interesting to see what Larson has for these Toyotas.
Austin Cindric back at 13th there with Reddick. Remember, Reddick got bottled up trying to get out of the pits and fell 14 spots during the pit cycle.
Yeah, and he's frustrated. You know, you do all that work to get past all the cars that you got past, and now you got to do it all over again. So
8th place, Ross Chastain trying to take the spot from Alex Bowman. Bowman comes back on the outside.
Well, we really saw the one car of Ross Chastain that first run, first stage of the race really come on the second half of the run there, the long run at the end of stage 1. So we know his car is really good as we get going forward, and the more you can protect that track position at the beginning of these runs, the more you can take advantage of that long run speed.
He's taking advantage of that high line too. That's something they've cleaned that racetrack off, giving these guys the affordability to move around, go where they're not, make that momentum speed down the straightaways.
Since the restart, Michael McDowell +8, William Byron up 6 spots, Ricky Stenhouse, Todd Gilliland, Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain up 5, and Tyler Reddick up 4.
Where we see Joey Logano get that huge run off the top of turns 3 and 4, and they're going to have to do something different. He's hoping that high line or something works for his car, because the Fords are just not where they need to be.
Alex Bowman under fire here. Bowman's last win came here in 2022. Penske teammates on the right. Logano was the pole sitter for today's race. Behind them, that is Hocevar, the rookie, trying to hold off Chase Elliott. Hocevar in 14th.
Yeah, and he's had a great run so far today.
Holding a pretty wheel, doing a great job. That 77 car, I think you're going to see a lot of him this year. I like that kid. He's in a good ride.
Just needs to run all the laps today.
Experience.
Yep. Denny Hamlin's your leader. 0.6 of a second in front of Kyle Larson. Martin Truex another half-second back.
He's already been a winner once out here in Las Vegas. I saw he won a blackjack tournament. That trophy said $300,000 on the top of it. I don't know if that's how much it was, but whew, that's a big one.
Now back in 9th place, Christopher Bell. Remember, back at lap 10, he brought out the first caution of the day when the right rear tire went down. Here's Bell on the way his day has gone so far.
Flat tire, flat tire, flat tire. Right rear, right rear. You got 2 more, 1 more. Clear there. Caution's out, caution's out. Just take care of it. Don't let rip the fender. Right rear. I feel better than the guys in front of me, and I can keep moving forward. I feel my head's still in a good spot, and I know that we'll be fine. Yeah, once we get sorted, it'll be okay. This thing's really good right now, Adam. Good work, good work.
Talking to crew chief Adam Stevens, I'd say everything's more than just okay. He got his way back to the top 10, and he stayed there.
Got through that adversity. Got lucky with a flat tire. Didn't damage our race car. Got right back after it. Yeah, my head's in a good place.
He's self-diagnosed.
Third place, a couple of former champs, Martin Truex, Kyle Busch. Neither one wanted to lift for that corner, but yeah, Truex had to. All right, 100 laps of 267 are complete, and Denny Hamlin has been out in front for 12 laps. He leads Kyle Larson by half a second. Las Vegas is home to the Sphere, the largest LED screen on the planet on its exterior, and it runs 24/7, taller than the Statue of Liberty. U2 just finished up their residency there. Fish, Dead and Company among the acts that will play there, and boy, there is a line out the door almost all the way to the Strip to see it. Lead change, Kyle Larson dropped to the inside, battled Denny Hamlin, and retook the lead. Larson's now been out front for a total of 37 laps. He's led 4 times.
Yeah, just running down, took advantage of that momentum, caught him at the right time and pounced on him.
Yeah, now that he's out front, he's really able to put about it's a little over a tenth and a half on the second and third place cars, and getting that clean air is such a huge deal, and being able to finish that pass on Denny Hamlin is something that he wanted to get done as soon as possible so that he could start to get a little bit of lap time out front, build that distance.
Three Chevys, 2 Toyotas in the top 5. Ryan Blaney is the first Ford in 6th. But Kyle Larson leading the way. His team, Hendrick Motorsports, has 9 wins here, most of all teams in history. And they had a clean sweep last year of the stages and the races. In fact, counting Bowman's win, they've won the last 3 in a row here in Las Vegas of spring races.
Well, we see that 11 car starting to fall off a little bit compared to the 8 and the 5 of Kyle Larson, as you see Kyle Busch go around the outside of Denny Hamlin.
So Chevy's 1, 2, and 4, fourth being Corey LaJoie.
Corey LaJoie is impressing me. I really thought he'd fall off. Obviously, an awesome pit stop put him in that scenario, but he's holding tough up there, doing a good job there. Great company, Spire Motorsports. That's a stiff competition they're running with.
You know, 2 years ago, it was Trackhouse Racing bursting on the scene to great effect. Last year's most improved team, RFK Racing. Chris Buescher had a great season. Could this be Spire Motorsports' season to break through?
Absolutely, and it's Corey LaJoie's time. He has put in the time. He has struggled. I mean, they were a back marker, right? And they've grinded it out, figured it out. They've got some money in that thing. They've got teammates now. First time he's ever had teammates. And look at the difference it's making. A win's coming in his future.
Well, to his inside is Ryan Blaney, who's going to go by here for 5th place. Regan.
Well, Mike Ryan Blaney, the top running forward right now, as we see him clear himself in front of Corey LaJoie. A little contact there, even having a good day, though, and that has come with a lot of good communication. Early on, that race car was so tight, it was chattering the front tires through the center of the corner. He and crew chief Jonathan Hassler working through that, found a way to get it to where now the car is turning good. He's happier with the car all the way around the racetrack right now.
All right, 33 laps complete in stage 2, which is 5 laps longer than the first stage at 85. Kyle Larson leading Kyle Busch by almost a second. Kyle Larson leading. Kyle Busch trying to close in from our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, powering every lap, every mile, and every victory on the road ahead. Goodyear, more driven. 117 laps complete on our progressive race summary. 10 different leaders, 12 lead changes, 34 cars on the lead lap. And Bubba Wallace has come to pit road, so has Ricky Stenhouse.
And here comes Blaney. They're going to start.
Well, you got some of these guys that are like Ryan Blaney that want to come to pit road early so that they can leapfrog the guys that they're racing around. Regan?
Well, we just talked about Ryan Blaney and how that car is turning better for him right now this run. The problem with that, it transitioned to just a little bit too loose on the entry. Both ends of the racetracks, turn 1 and turn 3.
Austin Dillon's in. Daniel Suarez making his stop. Ryan Preece.
Denny Hamlin from third. Sutherland Toe, Martin Truex Jr. I think that's Gibbs behind him. Bowman, here they're coming.
Well, it's forced everybody's hands to get on pit road so they don't lose any time.
McDowell, Byron, Gilliland. Here is Truex. Gibbs on pit road. Bowman's in his box. Logano, the pole sitter, and Cindric. Keselowski, Nemechek, and more. Jamie.
Leader Kyle Larson coming down pit road right now. They've been adjusting on his car throughout the day. He's been very quiet, though, for this run. Remember, he had that run-in with Ty Gibbs the last time he came into his pit box. As they calculate the timing, they count him down into his box, expecting to take 4 tires here. They told him to go on the jack. Don't have to wait for fuel like we saw so often last week.
Around the left side, Ross Chastain has taken over the lead from Tyler Reddick and Christopher Bell. Everybody pitting under green. And here is Chastain. He'll give up the lead to come to the pits. Reddick and Bell right with him. Austin Cindric too fast entering.
Well, this is a tough pit road because you have to do all your braking all the way around the banking to get to pit road, and it's really easy to speed in those first couple sections.
And off the banking, right? You were telling me yesterday, really slams these cars down off the banking when they get on a flat. That's why they move that line around the corner a little bit more to help these guys get in.
So everyone has pitted except for lap down cars, J.J. Yaley and Zane Smith. Take a while to sort this out, but Larson cycles back to the lead with Hamlin, who was third, now second. Daniel Hemrick too fast exiting pit road.
Well, we see Ryan Blaney is going to be third right there. Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin 1-2, but Ryan Blaney, he leapfrogged a couple guys on that pit stop.
And Ross Chastain, who pitted as the leader.
Oh,
Too fast entering.
And that's all the stuff that you want to preach to your driver. We got to do the little things right. You got to be able to get down pit road, not speed. I know we want to get as much time as we can, but we can't have penalties on pit road.
Do not beat yourself.
Do not beat yourself, 100%.
All right, the green flag cycle is complete, but for the penalty drives down pit road. Ryan Blaney was fourth, now third after the pit stop cycle, and we were fortunate to be able to listen in to their pre-race briefing for the pit crew.
You know, good job in Atlanta. Despite honestly being, a little bit sloppy on pit road. Race today, it's a 267 lap race. We can go about 65 laps on gas. Like I said, we don't have a ton of tires, so there's certainly the opportunity to use scuffs if we get, some early cautions stacked on top of each other. So, just be ready if I call for those, get those on the wall.
And most of the teams did take the opportunity to put at least 2 scuffs on back at the caution at lap 10.
Fantastic. According to plan, boys. Great job.
Penalty stop. That's the Kubota cam on Ross Chastain's car. And that will cost you at pit road speed, I guess, about a lap and a half to make that drive down pit road, get back up to speed. You'll lose about a lap and a half to the leader by the time you're back at speed. Lap and a quarter, lap and a half. 125 laps complete, closing in on halfway. Kyle Larson in command in Las Vegas. Closing on halfway, 130 laps complete, 137 to go here in Las Vegas. Kyle Larson leading Denny Hamlin now by almost 2 seconds. Hamlin picked up a spot in the pit road exchange there when everybody came in under green.
Well, when these fields get strung out like they are right now, you want to be able to try to leapfrog the cars that you're racing around, especially if you feel like you're faster, and be able to get by them under a pit strategy, because it's just easier to pass while you're under the strategy or on pit road.
Yeah, utilize your strategy, right? And that's exactly what you do. Short pit them, take advantage of a good pit stop. We listened to his crew chief talking about that plan pre-race, and they knocked it out of the park. I mean, that is execution at its finest right there.
29 cars on the lead lap. Ross Chastain, who had a penalty pass through, is the first car 1 lap down. Got some audio on Kyle Larson and Cliff Daniels and the changes they've made.
Yeah, it's in 4. We had to make an adjustment to take care of our right front tire. I think it's going to play right into our hands, though.
Well, we talked about it in pre-race. It was Kyle Larson versus his right rear tire, and
right.
Why we say that is because he can run his car looser than most people. But you hear Cliff talk about the fact that they needed to take care of the right front tire by freeing the car up. So that is definitely not what we're talking about, but it is definitely always a tire strategy and a balance strategy.
Now, Corey LaJoie, who just lost ninth spot to Chase Elliott, had some issues on pit road. Jamie?
Yeah, Mike, we've talked about how well he's been running today and what a great stop they had the time before last. But this is what happened most recently when he came into pit. Watch that right rear. They could not get that lug nut back on. You see him signaling, wait, wait, wait. He's trying to get it back on, had to wait. That cost him some valuable time, but he's fighting his way back right now. Still sitting 10th as they run.
Pretty good recovery there for a car that's been in the top 10 most all day. Tyler Reddick 7th right now. Restarted 15th. And William Byron got the free pass on the stage-ending caution at lap 80. So Byron restarted 34th. He's gained 18 positions.
Yeah, things rapidly unraveled for him. I mean, to the point of running over a trash bag and had to pit, but he's slowly but surely digging himself out of that. If anybody has the speed to match the 5 car, it's definitely his teammate William Byron. He's just got a long road to hoe still to get there.
Well, I think the team's just happy that it's still running.
Yeah, 350 degrees. That's pretty hot.
I've been watching Kyle Busch's last few laps on the scoring monitor, and he's definitely got some pace in that car right now. See him go by Ryan Blaney and Denny Hamlin.
I agree with you, Kevin. RCR has to be happy with their pace so far. Their performance, super speedways, this downforce mile and a half.
Now this is Ross Chastain trying to get his lap back the hard way. Had to make that penalty drive through. But he has closed on race leader Kyle Larson here.
It also tells you something about the speed of his car, because he's able to hang right with Kyle Larson, and I think with the clean air being up towards the front obviously gives them a read of, hey, we've got pretty good speed in our car. We just need to get the track position.
This is the first gauge, right? This is the first regular season downforce mile and a half package. Larry's told us about the speed conversation, the downforce, drag, and everything in between that. You have to have that balance correct. And when you leave this place or run as well as they have at Las Vegas on these mile and a halves, that gives you a good feeling moving forward.
Well, we've seen Ty Gibbs be as high as anybody going through turns 3 and 4 for as long as anybody has been doing it. So he's definitely got a good car today, especially on the long runs. But he's got options. I like that because he's able to run up the racetrack where not everybody is. And one of the things that you need here at Las Vegas, like we talked at the beginning of the race, you need to have options going into the corner. I need a versatile car. I need to be able to run at the top of the racetrack like Ty is right here.
Split the seam this lap, move down one lane.
And a lot of times you split that seam, you'll notice when we go into the corners, right around those seams, the racetrack's a little bit grayer than other places on the racetrack.
See Byron getting him another one.
So you look at the lap down cars, that includes Bubba Wallace, who had trouble on the right rear with the lug nut, and that has put him 3 laps down back there with J.J. Yaley. Zane Smith had trouble early, brushed the wall, had to come in for repairs under green. And the 1 lap down cars are Chastain, Haley, Cindric, and Hemrick, mostly due to penalties. .24 to go in stage 2. That'll be lap 165, the end of the second stage. With Kyle Larson leading, we'll take you box side by side.
You gonna sing? Go ahead.
I feel better. Elvis always makes you feel better. I tell you who feels good. Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
Look at this. 77 of 148. There's my guy.
He's here.
Darn right.
There are about a dozen of him that are up there on that platform.
Having fun.
Sure.
Having fun in the infield.
Kyle Larson's having fun.
Yes, he is.
About to put Kaz Grala 1 lap down here. How about the second place car, Regan?
Mike Kyle Busch having a great day after starting relatively deep in the field. I talked to his crew chief Randall Burnett earlier this morning. There was some concern in their hauler about what they were going to get today. They couldn't get his car to the bottom of the racetrack on entry yesterday. Made some significant adjustments, and nothing that Kyle Busch does on a racetrack should surprise us. Very good right now. Car just a little bit too loose for him with no grip off of the corners.
He is holding station, as they say, 4 seconds back of the lead. Denny Hamlin's about to come into that picture. Ryan Blaney another 1.5 seconds back. Well, they're trying to keep a lid on the pit box, and it's trying to blow away. Is that the biggest problem Kyle Larson?
I'll tell you why it's important, because that head right there on that man, you need to keep that thing cool. That guy is one smart cat. Leads the charge for this 5 car, does a good job. Cliff Daniels.
So the wind appears to have picked up here as Carson Hocevar has just pitted from 14th place.
Just don't have a lot of grip. Yeah, the wind has picked up, so it's probably making the drive worse.
Right front flat on Hocevar. That's why he had to stop.
That's too bad. I don't know it came from damage or anything. He was racing hard with those guys. Man, he was doing a great job. A great job inside the top 15. That's just what the doctor ordered for those guys. Got a little hiccup here to overcome. Maybe they can get it done.
Now Ross Chastain now is no longer the first car 1 lap down. He is 3rd because Kyle Larson keeps lapping cars. Derek Kraus in the 16 is the first car 1 lap down. You saw him lap Kaz Grala. He's the 2nd. So Chastain's got work to do if he's going to get back on the lead lap.
Well, that's the problem with the situation like Ross is in. It just kind of gets worse on these green flag runs, especially when you have a leader like Kyle Larson that's out there running great lap times and putting more cars a lap down.
Chase Briscoe, the Mahindra Cam. Briscoe had a tough day in Atlanta, but here he is running 13th. 17 seconds back. Make that 12th. Is he in, well, 13th now. William Byron goes by for 12th. Briscoe 13th.
Yeah, and Chase pitted a little bit early, so I think as the end of this run goes, he's going to start falling back a little bit just because of the fact he has a little bit older tires.
4th place, Tyler Reddick.
Overcoming that pit stop. Here he comes back again, tail end of this run, just like we had on that long run last time. Tyler Reddick getting back up where he needs to be. Fast race car.
But think about how long that's taken, Clint. That really emphasizes the point of making a mistake on pit road and doing the little things wrong and how long it takes to make your track position back up.
Well, 10 to go here in the stage 2, and that's exactly where he pounced on him. Passed a lot of cars in that last 10, 15 laps. Great momentum, digging himself out of a hole, making a difference up.
Harrison Burton, the 26th place car, about to go 1 lap down.
Oh,
no trouble.
Christopher Bell is around off of 2. More trouble for him. I don't think it's no right rear tire flat. That thing was up.
Leaders in 2 now.
4th caution of the day. Christopher Bell was in 14th place when this happened.
Yeah, it looks like all the tires are up, Clint.
I'll have to see here. I think he just lost it, guys. He was in the wake
Tires
of a
are
car
up
in
and
front of
don't
him.
pit.
Tires are up, don't pit. They're definitely up. Didn't get into the wall, it doesn't look like. You can see him right behind Chase Briscoe here. Gets loose. Round she went.
Just
caution out.
Yeah, right in the middle of that corner is where the bumps are that we talk about, and the higher up the racetrack you go. But a lot like last week when we were at Atlanta, Clint, and we see those cars kind of halfway poked out with that right front fender, it puts you in a position to where the car can get freer, especially if you're on the verge of being too free anyway.
All right, so Kyle Larson had not quite lapped Harrison Burton, so Derek Kraus gets the free pass.
He's spinning behind. He's spinning behind.
Yeah, just overcome. His running 14th there was, again, I say he was digging out of that hole that the right rear tire had him with a flat tire that first run. Now we're right back where we started.
Yeah, and you see all that smoke out of the back of the car. What as a driver, what you do right there is you floor the car. And the reason that you floor the car is it drives the car down the hill to keep it from backing up the racetrack and hitting the fence.
The other thing you don't do is overcorrect. These cars and the tires are under them, the left side weight. It was a heads-up move by him to keep that thing locked down, and just like you said, floor it, get this baby headed back down the hill.
Now, pit road will be open this time.
8 to go. Will there be any gamblers? Probably not. I'd say they're all coming. Might see some 2 tires, stuff like that.
And pit road will be a busy place, even with 8 to go in stage 2. Regan.
Mike, the 8 car, Kyle Busch in second place right now. Fired off really good after that green flag pit stop, but it fell off too quick for him. Car fell on top of the racetrack and greasy all the way around in the 11 to Denny Hamlin. A little bit edgy on entry. Doesn't have comfort getting into the corners. Around lap 20, it got really loose. Jamie?
Tyler Reddick in the 45, nice and smooth into his pit box. Still a little bit loose. They've been tightening him up each stop. Meanwhile, the 5 of Kyle Larson, they had made that air pressure adjustment to help those tires last longer. He said took off just a little bit loose, but obviously happy.
Brad Keselowski had to back up to get out of his pit, and he'll come out at the back.
See Josh Berry having trouble getting out of his box as well.
Oh, Ty Gibbs.
Fill up with fuel.
Don't let that tire go, guys. Get that tire. Wheels fell off the bus there, boys. Frustration sets in. A lot of trouble for Gibbs in the pits.
Yeah, and I want to go back to your comment about Josh Berry having trouble getting out of the pits. These cars they don't turn very well when you're in a pit stall, so it's really, really difficult to be able to get the car turned to the right to get out of the pit box. When they're going fast, they're really, really twitchy, and the steering is pretty nice. But when they're sitting there at low speeds, it is tough to get the car turned and out of the pit box.
So we're going to have a few laps to race here to the end of stage 2. There's your Ford cam on board Brad Keselowski, who was a little deep in his box, not way deep, but he had to back up to get out, and that's why he is back there. Uncontrolled tire for Ty Gibbs. That will be a penalty. Next Sunday on Fox, the NASCAR Cup Series goes to the Arizona Desert in Phoenix. Pre-race 2:30 Eastern. Engines fire at 3:30 for the Shriners Children's 500 next Sunday on Fox. And here's some radio on car 54. Where are you? Your wheel.
I do not have a first gear. This pilot transmission is broken for first gear.
Well, you don't need it much, so just use second.
Well, but if there's parts rolling around in that transaxle, that could cause further issues.
Yeah, it is definitely not an ideal situation because of that scenario there, Mike. And he's frustrated.
Yeah, hard to get in and out of the pits. That's where you're going to have trouble. First gear, that's definitely exiting pits. Already had trouble, right? Now we got an uncontrolled tire. Now we got to start at the back.
Yeah, and that was just a bad cycle of circumstances right there.
All right, cars that did not pit taking the wave around. There are 7 of them that'll get waved around back to the lead lap, headed up by Kaz Gralla. So they sweep around the Toyota Camry XSE safety car, and we'll get back to the lead lap. And they'll include some of the cars that were penalized, like Austin Cindric, and some that had to make an unscheduled stop, like Carson Hocevar. Regan?
Well, Mike, a slow stop for Kyle Busch down here on pit road. They had to actually go back around the car to get to the right front. They did not get the lug nut all the way onto the car. You'll see right here, they think that it's good, and when they drop the jack, the changer waves his arms. Fortunately caught it in time, but it cost him a lot of track position.
So Kyle pitted from second place. And is now 18th.
You saw him looking at it. He didn't want to believe it, but that was a good heads-up move. You hate to do that, but you have to do that. That wheel cannot fall off. I want to talk Alex Bowman. Said it. Who's going to gamble? Inside of 5 to go here. He put 2 tires on that 48 from 14th place. Let's see if the gamble pays off.
Well, the question I have is for Larry, and we had to put these tires on late in this stage in order to compete, and that probably puts you in a little bit of a box with your tire count, Larry.
It does, because we were doing pretty good on the tire count. Most of them had only used about 4 sets. Remember, they have 9 sets, including what they started to race on in the qualifiers. So yeah, definitely, it puts some different folks at different strategies as far as number of sets of tires lap, because remember, we've got over 100 laps to go in this thing.
And we now have 33 cars on the lead lap, including Derek Kraus, who got the free pass. The only cars laps down are Bubba Wallace, J.J. Yaley, and Zane Smith. Chris Buescher, the only car out of the race after cutting down a tire. Lap 27 hitting the wall. Pace car is in. Bowman and Larson will lead them to 4 laps to go in stage 2.
That Chase Elliott fan right there, he likes what he sees. Finally, Chase Elliott back in the game here. Stage points on the line. They're going to be going for it.
4 wide. Five wide for an instant.
I told you we'd hear it today, Clint.
Look at the runs coming. All over the place, a lot of blocking. How about these 2 tires for Bowman? Got tight right here. Larson to the inside of him for the lead.
Who says we can't have a finish like last week here?
Reddick is back.
Bowman for second. Reddick underneath him. Hamlin coming around on the outside. Blaney on the bottom.
Big momentum for 11 and Denny Hamlin. Bowman still holding strong on this outside on 2 tires. Better block.
Truex there too. 5 cars racing for second.
Yeah, and you saw Denny Hamlin getting a push by Martin Truex Jr. into the corner, and he was like, oh man.
He's getting tight. Bowman's getting tight in the wake of Reddick in front of him. Hamlin to the inside.
The 5 and 45 finished in that order in stage 1. Here we come to 1 to go in stage 2.
You're going to have to deal with that 45 car the rest of the day if they don't make any more mistakes. He's rebounded from his mistake, and he's going to be racing with Kyle Larson for the rest of this event.
100%.
Reddick High loses a car length at turn 2. In Larson's draft, going to 3, gets half of that length back.
Trying to break that draft, Kyle Larson. Looking to the outside for the stage win right here. Not going to get it done.
Kyle Larson sweeps the stages as he did last fall. And for 10th and the final stage point, give it to Eric Jones over Chase Briscoe. Looks a little like Atlanta all over again, except Kyle Larson is the stage 2 winner. Stage 2 is complete at the Pennzoil 400, presented by Jiffy Lube at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Kyle Larson over Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, and Martin Truex. Here's your aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, powering every mile and every moment on NASCAR's road to victory. Goodyear, more driven. So at the end of stage 2, who will come and who will stay out? Here are the points earned so far today. Kyle Larson sweeping both stages, as he did here en route to victory last fall.
That's the one that hurt right there. That bad pit stop on Kyle Busch and company in the 8 car really hurt them in this points conversation here. They should have had stage points.
We've been told Larson will stay out, as will a number of the leaders. The question on those that pit will be 2 tires or 4.
Well, you know Bowman's coming.
Yep, he's the first one in. Alex Bowman, William Byron coming. Let's crank it up for you.
Red.
You ready? Go, go.
Behind after that, you're ready. One lane clear after the 42. Clear.
Uneventful pit stops, except I believe that's Kaz Grala backing up into his pit after he had left. It is. And looks like they'll check the right sides for tightness there. We're under caution, end of stage 2. Kyle Larson, the stage winner over Tyler Reddick.
Back here in the Race Day studios from Las Vegas, just wrapping up stage 2 out there at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Shannon and Jamie here. A lot of action on the racetrack, a lot of action on pit road. Let's get you caught up with all the highlights from the race so far today. Long day for Christopher Bell.
Oh, he's been involved in 2 accidents. He actually had a tire issue here early on lap 10. got him to the back. He'd worked his way back up to 14th, and then obviously brought out the caution just a few laps ago.
Chris Buescher, you know, he had some issues, and this brought out the red flag for a while.
Yeah, lost a right front wheel. We actually saw the lug nut come off, and then they had to go in and they had to weld the wall up, Shannon, but about 10 minutes to get this fixed. This, though, is interesting because Byron had a car we thought capable of winning at one point in the race. Has a little bit of debris get on his grill. He lost a lap, but was able to get back on the lead lap, just pitted. It'll be interesting to see what he can do.
Someone's not going to be able to clean up their campsite tonight because that back is on the front of William Byron's. Tyler Reddick, he has a bad pit stop, drops all the way down to 16th, running second right now.
Yeah, not a bad pit stop. He actually slid through his stall and was at a bad angle. Struggled to get out, had to back up. Right here, though, Ross Chastain was one of 3 guys that got a speeding penalty. Lost the lap, is back on the lead lap right now. And here's Christopher Bell again. We talked about it. Had a spin, and this has actually put him a couple of laps down. But Kyle Larson, he has been the guy to beat all day. But I think Reddick's going to challenge him here.
I know you said that before we came in here, but here's a little McNugget for you guys. 4 times in his career, Kyle Larson has swept all 3 stages, looking to do it 5 times today.
Well, that leads us right into our Credit One Bank ones to watch, Shannon. So, Clint, who not named Kyle Larson do you have your eye on?
Well, he's going to have to get the job done. We know Kyle Larson's fast, but the one I'm keeping an eye on is this Tyler Reddick in the 45. He is fast. He's keeping him honest. He's been second to Kyle Larson in both stages. But if anybody can beat that car, I think it's Tyler Reddick.
Well, the car I'm going to pick, unlike you, has been very quiet today, and that's Ryan Blaney. He is the champ and kind of sneaks up on you really everywhere that we go. And today I feel like he's done that. He's been quiet and right there, and he's sitting in 4th right now.
Definitely carrying the Ford flag.
Well, Denny Hamlin won here in 2021. He's still looking for his first top 10 of the season. But I want to watch Hamlin because of something he said on his podcast. He congratulated everybody for that finish at Atlanta. And I think it was the greatest finish in NASCAR history in which nobody crashed. And that was the point he made on his podcast. So, great. Let's see how he does. Let's see how they do.
I think we're all right. I do. I like our picks. I like, well, this Kyle Larson.
Yeah, well, this Kyle Larson.
You know, I mean...
Man. Saturday, it's a huge regular season finale on Fox. 12th ranked Creighton takes on Villanova at 2:30 Eastern. 5 o'clock, more hoops. 5th ranked Marquette battles Xavier. And in primetime, more hoops. 3rd ranked UConn faces Providence. It all tips off Saturday on Fox. Bubba Wallace with an extended stay on pit road. They have a stuck lug nut on the left front. They are going to have to cut that nut off to remove it and replace it, hopefully without too much damage to the threads. Meanwhile, the field is coming to green for stage 3. It'll be 95 laps to go. Larson and Reddick. Chevy Toyota front row. Here we go.
Got them back on their feet here. These restarts are wild. Comes Kyle Larson already looking to the outside. Excuse me, Kyle Busch.
A lot of 3 wide. Big runs off turn 2 on the top. Three wide for second.
Well, we see a lot of 3 wide, like you say, Mike.
4 wide back here, boys.
Yeah, and what we've got right now is we've got a mixed up field. We've got the guys that stayed out in the front. You got the back half of the field that said, the heck with it. We're going to come in. We're going to take a chance, put stickers on. And they drove right through the middle and around the outside with those new tires.
And NASCAR has said the restart is under review.
Ooh.
One thing that it happens at this particular racetrack, you cannot go below the white line before the start-finish line, so it'll be interesting to see what this looks like.
And NASCAR has approved the restart. No penalty called.
Still 3 wide.
This time for 5th place.
Chase Elliott holding strong in that middle. Haven't seen much of him today. Starting to show up when the time's right. The old pay window getting closer.
Got into the top 10 before the end of stage 2. Briscoe comes up the racetrack in front of those cars. He was battling 3 wide. Bold move in front of Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney.
Ooh, look at this mess back here.
Yep.
Well, the guy that we talked about, that I was talking about before we went green there, Ryan Blaney, he didn't shake out very good on the way all that shook out with the restart there. Lost several spots.
Now Blaney is 7th and under fire from Austin Dillon for that spot. Trying to come back now against Elliott. Blaney back up to 6th.
And there we see Austin Dillon in a 3-car, Clint. We haven't said much about him today. He's had a very good run. We've talked about his teammate right behind him there in the 8-car of Kyle Busch. But Austin Dillon having a great day today.
Well, he was struggling early, right? And Kyle Busch was up there running well. I kept looking over my shoulder. All right, where's his teammate? Where's Austin Dillon? I don't know. Maybe he got some information. Maybe they were on a different air pressure or something. Woke that car up for sure.
And it could very well have been that, because these cars are very sensitive to air pressure. So if you have a teammate that's running good and the air pressure is way different and you put that in your car, it could very well have fixed it.
Yeah, Dillon is now 7th, but to your point, his average running position today, 18th.
That clean air, talk about wake up. With clean air, they just keep getting the handle a little bit better with every position.
Ty Gibbs moving past Dillon up into 7th place. And loses the spot back to the older of the Dillon brothers.
Tell you what, Hocefar's climbing back up there. That's the true test, right? What do we have for a race car? If you got it up there in clean air, that's one thing. You get it back here in this mess and dirty air, and that thing's still making hay, got a pretty good hot rod.
Yeah, it's one thing for your race car, but it's also another thing to see the temperament of your driver and how he reacts in those situations. Young guy, hasn't been in these situations a lot, obviously knows how to put the gas pedal down, but there you see Josh Berry up on the outside trying to figure out where to take all that momentum.
Had a big run on Hocevar on the outside, but could not pay it off, not that time. Todd Gilliland in the mix, who led the most laps at Atlanta last week.
Yeah, we're on board with Corey LaJoie, Carson Hocevar's teammate. You see Carson peeking under the back bumper of Corey LaJoie and going on by. Well, not all the way by, but he's there. You mentioned it earlier, Clint. This Spire team has done a great job. They brought great cars today. Raced competitively up in the front half of the field. Corey LaJoie's been at the front. Hocevar had a penalty and has worked his way back towards the front. So,
proof's in the pudding. Depth, right? Now we got depth in an organization. We got teammates. Again, we covered it. Sponsors, all that stuff just keeps getting better and better for them.
Noah Gregson at his home race, trying to break into the top 10 here. He's one spot away from doing that. Was quick in the opening laps of practice yesterday. Did not translate to a great qualifying spot, however. But he's knocking on the door of the top 10. His teammate Ryan Briscoe up in 5th, the leading Stewart Haas car. Gregson 2nd in that group. Ross Chastain back on the lead lap. Remember, he was one of those cars that took the wave around on the caution just before the end of stage 2, since he was not going to be in position to get the free pass. 6th place.
That car keeps getting better. Austin Dillon in this 3-car.
There's the car that keeps getting better. That 54 car right there. We covered their pit stop and everything that went wrong. Lost his first gear, and he's driving like he's mad.
Rolling, baby. He was mad.
He is mad. He's rolling to the front, though.
Nice recovery from that uncontrolled tire penalty just a bit ago.
And we've talked about Ty Gibbs and how close we think he is to winning. And this is a great racetrack for Joe Gibbs Racing in their cars, notoriously, with whether Xfinity cars, Cup cars, no matter what that is. And today he's running well.
The problem he's going to have are the 3 Toyotas ahead of him: Reddick, Hamlin, and Truex, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Kyle Larson giving the field the goodbye look. 2.3 seconds and growing is his lead. He is right now the fastest car on the racetrack, of course in clean air, but his lap times 4/100ths or more better than anybody who's chasing him.
Yeah, it's a good old-fashioned butt whooping right now, but the day is still young. Look how that car changing at wake in front of him upset Kyle Busch. Thing really shot up the racetrack as soon as that wake crossed in front of him.
Which one you betting on, Clint?
Well, right now I think I'm gonna bet on Kyle Busch wins this, right? But I'm really happy with what I saw in Austin Dillon. It had to have been, Kevin, some sort of an air pressure deal or something.
Yeah.
That car just instantly after a pit stop came to life.
On board the Mahindra Tractors camera here with Chase Briscoe. He's running 5th right now. He kind of snuck in there on us. He's kind of been 10th to 15th, and all of a sudden here he is 5th.
That's the leading Ford in the race. Ryan Blaney right behind. Another Mustang. And they're the only 2 Fords in the top 10. John Hunter Nemechek, the Toyota onboard camera. 25th, another of the cars that took the wave around just prior to the end of stage 2. So Kyle Larson leading Tyler Reddick by not quite 2 seconds, Jamie.
And what a great day it's been for Tyler Reddick. 29th and 30th to start the year with those first 2 races. Today, all they wanted was to do our best, run in the top 10, get some points to show for it. They've been bad fast. They did have one bad stop. The 3rd time they came in, he had to stop and back it up, but they overcame it. Now they're telling him, be aware, the 14 is fast, and he's coming.
Well, last lap, the 45 of Reddick was the only car on the track who was faster than Kyle Larson, and it was by more than 1/10 of a second. So certainly Reddick has speed, but Larson has a 1.5 second lead with 78 to go in the Nevada desert. Larson Chevy over the Toyotas of Reddick, Hamlin, and Truex. Let's go Fox side by side.
All right, boys, I must admit, you got it made right here.
So much fun doing that Tailgate piece. Tailgate Kings, we were in the infield, went down there and saw a lot of race fans, a lot of these West Coast fans. Kevin, these are your people.
Yeah, apparently you wound up in a Bakersfield camp, huh?
If you're going to dub anybody the Tailgate Kings, them guys down there, they were having a blast, loving what they see at this NASCAR race.
You've definitely been around me enough to know that people from Bakersfield are fun, right?
100%. You never know where they're going to show up, too.
Boy, the wind has picked up. Speeds into turn 1 are now 6 miles per hour different compared to the beginning of the race. That's quite a headwind headed off into turn 1. Corey LaJoie looking back at Alex Bowman. Daniel Suarez behind them. They're back at 17th, 18th. William Byron had an incredibly fast car, maybe as fast as Kyle Larson's, but he picked up the biggest loose trash bag in Nevada on the grill. Had to make an unplanned stop, and he's been fighting his way back ever since. He's now in 12th place.
Racing our off. Where are we running? 15th. You're on 3 tenths faster. Everybody in front of you. One at a time here. Staying in it, bud. So don't stop. Staying in it.
Well, these cars are really frustrating to drive when you get them in traffic like that. So that's good advice from Rudy up on the pit box and everything that's going on with his driver inside the car right now. It's hard to work yourself back through traffic, and he's just frustrated inside the car.
I'm watching Tyler Reddick and his teammate that's down laps, Bubba Wallace, making a difference. Watch Bubba. He goes up. He had new tires on. He's going to get a run, and he's been pushing Reddick to the leader of Kyle Larson. See, here he comes. That's teamwork at its finest. Going to push him right up front. They're running down the leader doing this.
Now, Bubba, after that long pit stop where they had to cut off a lug nut, is 13 laps down. So his top 5 string is over. But he's in position to help his teammate.
Well, we've noted it in the past. We've seen Kyle Larson get loose on long runs.
Last week's winner, Daniel Suarez, in 18th, trying to hold back Bowman and Berry. Larry Mack, 67 to go.
Yeah, Mike, we went back racing with 95 to go. Everybody has to stop one time for fuel. Everybody has 3 sets of tires. Earlier, when they pitted in stage 2, they had only run 30 laps before they started making green flag stops. If you're going to split this into thirds, you're going to come the next 4 or 5 laps. If you're going to split this stage in half, you're going to have to run about another 15 laps. We're seeing a lot of people that I think are thinking about just splitting it in half.
So, Larry, which would you do?
I believe I would split it in half, especially because of just having 3 sets of tires.
How about the 5 of Kyle Larson? He has been the class of the field all day. What's their plan?
15 to 20 away from pitting. The cycle could start at about 10.
So that would split it in half. Pole sitter Joey Logano back in 13th. Chase Briscoe fading a bit, now back to 14th.
Yeah, we talked about Chase being up there in the top 5, and obviously he got a good restart and was able to get himself in a good position, but that car has continuously faded ever since we took the green.
Had good takeoff speed all weekend long. Yesterday was the same way. Not good on a long run. Jamie?
I talked to Joey Logano about that this morning, and he said, you know, we unloaded. We were not happy. We were worried. They made some adjustments, and that made him very confident for today. He said the car really handled well when they made adjustments to that 22. But, guys, it has been bad news since he started on pole. He's gone backwards, and he's plowing like a dump truck. His words, not mine.
Just in front of him, Noah Gragson is the second Ford in the race in 12th, having a great race in his hometown. Best of the Fords is Blaney in 4th. Larson leading for Chevrolet. Reddick and Truex second and third for Toyota. And the first to pit is the number 14 of Chase Briscoe. As we mentioned, he was falling back, had been up as high as 5th. And as Larry said, will likely split this stage in thirds.
That teammate being behind Reddick on those new tires is able to lag back, let him get a run, and then get a run up off the corner and push him down the straightaways. That combination's catching Larson.
Well, the only thing that he's struggling with is we see Alex Bowman come to make his green flag pit stop, but the only thing that they struggle with is going into turns 1 and 2. I think he wants to run that middle lane, and Reddick has to run a little higher.
It seems like Reddick's handling's going away quickly too, but they're catching him quick. Now he's in the draft.
He's in the draft.
Of the Larson, he's going to pull right to him.
So Bowman got 4 tires and pulls away. No other takers on pit road other than Briscoe and Bowman so far.
Got too close there, Kevin. Drafted right to Larson, got in his wake, it got tight. Reddick got tight and shot up the racetrack. Here comes an assist with his teammate.
Josh Berry on pit road.
Yeah, I think if Kyle Larson is super concerned about what's happening with that high line in 3 and 4 with Reddick, I think he'll move up there and just air block him if he feel like he gets too close.
Sixth place here. This happening about 8 seconds behind the leader.
It's a good run for Austin Dillon.
Harrison Burton, Ryan Preece pitting. All of these cars back toward the back half of the lead lap.
I'm a little surprised about Denny Hamlin. I thought when he took the lead and was up in the front of the pack, I'm like, man, he's going to stay up here and be a part of this mix as we go through the rest of the day. But he's kind of just faded back to be 6th. But
all right, first of the contenders to come to pit road is Ty Gibbs, who pits from 7th place. Jamie.
He's made up a lot of ground after that disastrous pit stop last time by. He slid into his box, and they tried to change 4 tires. 1 tire got away, and oh, by the way, he doesn't have first gear, so they'll try to nail it here and help push him on the exit of his pit box.
Daniel Hemrick also stopping for 4 tires and fuel. And Gibbs pulls away without incident.
You heard him have to lose a lot of clutch.
Yeah, you got to use a lot of clutch and a lot of RPM to get that wheel spin up so you can get it out of the pit box in 2nd gear.
All right, a lot of takers now. Joey Logano, Austin Dillon, Regan.
What a great run for the 3 of Austin Dillon. Earlier on in the day, very tight with the right front. Couldn't get through the corners quite like he wanted, but they've adjusted on it. As of right now, he's been quiet on the radio this run. Happy right now.
Eric Jones, Kaz Grala on pit road.
Reddick in 2nd, pit road.
And Wallace continues to be his wingman. He's going to pit as well. And here comes Blaney to the pit lane. Jamie.
Tyler Reddick parks it perfectly in his pit box. Said he got a little bit tight there, especially in traffic. A little bit of an air pressure adjustment, and 4 tires here, Regan.
The 11 of Denny Hamlin. 1 and 2 is pretty good for his car, but 3 and 4 is the problem. He has been plowing in turns 3 and 4. Jamie.
Cindric is in Stenhouse, and here comes the leader, Kyle Larson.
Well, the day he's been having, Mike, it's no surprise he hasn't said a thing on the radio since he last came into pit. Car has been very good. All they've made is an air pressure adjustment on this 5 machine today. He's led 136 laps as he parks it there. 4 tires, clear vision. They got that tear off. They catch the tire and work the left side.
That'll give the lead to Carson Hocevar. What a day he's had. William Byron headed pit side now. So Byron the leader. Hocevar, if he stays out, will be the leader. But no, he is coming to pit road as well. And that should pretty well complete the pit cycle.
Yeah, and Tyler Reddick lost a bunch of ground on this pit stop as we watched Carson Hocevar coming into his pit stall. But Reddick lost a bunch of ground with a slow pit stop.
Byron had to back up to get in his stall. And Kyle Busch will have a penalty.
Oh, no.
This is what we've talked about all day, guys. We can't make the little mistakes, and we see these pit roads speeding penalties, loose wheels, uncontrolled tires, whatever the penalty is. We've seen a lot of it.
And now we're running out of time to fix the mess, right?
Now Austin Cindric has been against the wall. The Kyle Busch penalty is for pitting out of the box. Pass through pit road speed will cost him about 1.25 laps to the leader, who is now Daniel Suarez. 5 cars have not pitted. Suarez, Gilliland, McDowell, Kraus, and Haley. none of whom were running up in the top 10, but they cycled to the front hoping for a caution, or they're going to stay on that one-stop strategy that Larry described.
Well, Kevin, you noted Reddick was a slow stop, 13.5 it was. He short-pitted Larson, going for the advantage that we talked about strategy-wise, but couldn't take advantage of it because of the slow stop.
Justin Haley to pit road as we continue under green with 53 laps to go. And now just 4 drivers at the front of the field who have not been on pit road since the end of stage 2. Here's Gilliland pitting, and that will leave just Suarez, McDowell, and Kraus. So, Larry, how long do they need to go to do the one-stop strategy, Larry? When will they stop?
Yeah, if they're going to split straight down the middle here in about 3 to 5 laps, somewhere around lap 219, lap 220, right, looks like Suarez is coming now.
Now would be a good answer.
Yeah.
Thanks, Larry.
Yeah, you were all over that, Larry. That was spot on.
So McDowell would be the race leader. And Derek Kraus getting his first of 6 starts this year in the 16 for Colleague Racing. Running second.
Well, we see Michael McDowell, who's cycled around to lead in the race. They've had a tough day. They've missed the handling today, and after a great start in the first 2 races, and this is another one that we're on board with the Ford Performance camera here with Brad Keselowski. He's not had a good day either, so they've missed it today, and we noticed that yesterday in practice.
Well, when you're down and out, what do? Time to gamble, and I like this. Let's do something different, hope for a caution here. Maybe it'll pay out for us. McDowell.
So Kyle Larson currently 3rd. First of the cars that pitted as we cycle back around, but the pit stop cycle not quite complete. 34 and the 16 have yet to stop. Here is Kraus making his Cup Series debut.
Yeah, and right now the leader, Michael McDowell, and Derek Kraus, they're losing a second and a half to Kyle Larson. So that's a lot of time to give up per lap.
Which means if they stay out in 5 laps, Larson will be the leader whether they stop or not.
That's right.
So, Larry, you're saying they could split it in half by stopping now, but does Michael McDowell need to stop?
Yeah, he can run another 12 to 14 laps on his fuel. That would be beyond splitting it in half. Looks like to me he decided to come to pit road right now. It's absolutely splits his stage straight down the middle.
See how that plays out for him at the end of the day.
See just how slick those pit boxes are right there firsthand, Kevin. You told us about it.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the concrete or the rubber on the concrete, but these pit boxes have always been as slick as anywhere that we go on the circuit, and it's really easy to slide through your pit box with the front tires locked up.
So Derek Kraus, running in his first ever Cup race, is going to get to lead his first ever Cup race.
That's cool.
Yep.
He better hurry because here comes Kyle Larson.
We got one.
That just shows you the difference in tires right there.
So Kyle Larson back on point. Tyler Reddick. How long before either of you led your first Cup race?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I know I didn't. My first race was at Rockingham, and I know how well I ran at Rockingham, so I know it wasn't there.
Well, we know you led your 3rd Cup race.
That's
you won
right.
it in Atlanta.
Exactly right.
More importantly, that's the one that gets me. 3rd race. But you know what, though? My first race I ever raced was the first win. My win came at New Hampshire. That's what was unique to me.
So Derek Kraus has made his pit stop and now the entire field has been in. So 44 laps to go in Las Vegas. We'll take our last scheduled green flag break before the finish. We want to thank everybody over at Nellis Air Force Base, right across the highway from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, for the flyover and for all
flyover.
they do.
That was a cool flyover. Big flex. Glad they're on our side.
Yes. Teammates battling for 8th place. Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, that was one of our stories at the top of the day. How would Chase Elliott fare here at Las Vegas? We remember this was the first race he missed after that snowboarding accident last year.
Well, we haven't seen the speed out of the 9 and the 48 like we've seen out of the 5 and the 24 today. And I definitely think that they're going to go back and try to figure out why that is. And you look behind him at Alex Bowman. It's been 2 years since he won a race right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway was the last time he had won. So both the 9 and the 48 looking for some speed compared to their teammates.
Now let's clean up the issue of Kyle Busch in his hometown race. He was in the top 5 much of the day, but here is what has put him a lap down. The splitter is over the line at the front end of his pit box. They went ahead and serviced the car, and that results in a penalty.
And they've had 4 pretty big penalties on pit road this year, so they have the speed in their race cars. They've just had some mistakes on pit road, and at this level of racing, you just cannot have the mistakes.
That was bad judgment. They saw it, right? Probably should have backed him up before he did service on that car. It's a price. It's a hard call to make. That's a call you have to make.
3rd place, here is Ty Gibbs. He is battling back toward the front, and that's a hornet's nest inside that car.
So they're 19. All right, I am done racing them easy. That's it. Go back to work here.
Yeah, it's tough inside the car, and Ty's had a pretty challenging day with everything that he's been battling through, and it sounds like he feels like his teammate should cut him a break right there and know how fast his car is. And there you see him.
Whoa. Crossing back over it. Now you're going to be frustrated.
Yeah.
Now it's warranted. I agree with you, Ty Gibbs.
And that brings their other teammate, Denny Hamlin, right back into play.
There he's going to get in line.
And you can almost see the personality in the cars, the way that Martin swerved back up the racetrack. Hey, like, you might be mad. I don't like the way you're
Trouble turn 2. One car sliding, slamming into the wall.
Oh no, Corey LaJoie. Was that right rear down maybe from sliding? I think the right rear was down right there.
Yeah.
LaJoie was 18th.
What a bummer, Clint. Corey was having such a good day. Ran solid in the front all day, and looks like the right rear might have been down.
I think it wasn't down. He got. Yeah. I can't. Let's back up. Make sure he didn't get help. That car was right on his tail. But he got loose. It obviously, when he locked down, blew the tire out.
I can't tell you guys at home how hard that apron hit is. Listen to this hit the apron. Oh, that last shot goes right through your spine. I know it doesn't look like much on TV, but when you watch this right here, you're gonna feel it.
I think that was Brad Keselowski that was really close to him. I want to go back and make sure that
somebody was crowding him right there.
Yeah, it looked like he just lost it.
Yeah.
Because you heard the right rear tire pop. As he's sliding with the brakes on, you heard the right rear tire pop inside the in-car camera.
Yeah, but I don't think he got help. I don't think Brad, I think he just got loose.
Yep.
He was pretty close to him, but unfortunately.
Those little hits like that hurt. And you see the safer barrier move right there, and the in-car cameras don't really do it justice, how that feeling feels for the driver.
I want to thank all of our Fox cameramen. Yesterday, they were a bunch of grim faces when they were not allowed up on the roof to run the cameras during practice for the high winds. It was like, oh gosh, now what do we do? But man, they give you these great pictures.
Right along Keselowski, yeah, totally just got loose in front of him. You knew he was in trouble. Did you see how fast he caught him right there? Got loose, got out of the gas, lost it.
And there are fellows back up on duty. Mike Dranis, Nelson Hastings, Steve up there as well. They're giving you those great pictures. And yes, they are tethered to the guardrail up there on the roof.
I need one of those. I need one of those for Clint in here.
So Larry Mack, you got one set of tires up on the wall and you got 31 laps to go. What do you do?
This is one of the reasons I'm follically challenged as I am today right here, because they've run about 20 laps on these tires. We're going to go back racing about 25 to 26 or 7 to go. I just think that's too many laps that you've run, too many laps to go to gamble too much. But you know what? We are in Vegas, but gambling here could be like hitting on 19. Might not work out too good. My moral of my story is pit and get 4 tires. You look confused, Clint.
I was
wondering what the 19 meant.
Who hits on 19? Gosh.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That would be gambling and staying out or taking just 2 here.
Okay.
Clint's still confused. Yep.
All right, 23 lead lap cars. Pit road's going to be real busy right here, Regan.
That's right, Mike. They're all going to be coming here. The 11 car of Denny Hamlin fired off good on that run. Just wants a good pit stop. No adjustments because of it. And the 12 of Ryan Blaney, just no grip right now with his car loose overall, and the ride quality wasn't good. Jamie?
Tyler Reddick in the 45, a little bit tight. He said the top of the racetrack is pretty good. I can make it work. Meanwhile, the 5 of Kyle Larson, happy with that balance. told him where he was faster than the 45 in 3 and 4.
Ross Chastain, 2 tires, goes up to second place as we are under caution for Corey LaJoie. Welcome back to the Pennzoil 400 presented by Jiffy Lube at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 29 laps to go as 10 cars take the wave around, trying to get a lap back. Will equalize things somewhat. We're showing 29 cars on the lead lap at the moment. From our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, powering the race from green flag to checkered flag and every mile in between. Goodyear, more driven. So we're hearing quite a few of the contenders have one set of sticker tires left as we're going to restart with 27 laps to go. Larson and Chastain on the front row. Ross Chastain, the only driver that we noticed taking just 2 tires. Everybody else got 4.
Well, this is going to get wild, Clint.
Yes, sir.
They all know that the pay window is getting ready to open. We're going to have 27 laps to go when we take the green flag, and they are going to push and shove, and there's not going to be a lot of give.
Yes, this restart's going to get wild.
Now with the wave around, everybody back to Kyle Busch in 30th place is on the lead lap, and then add the free pass car Daniel Hemrick.
Man, I cannot believe I just heard you say Kyle Busch 30th place. What a hit there. Bad time on that. Hard to dig yourself out this late in the run. That's a top 3 car in my opinion, running 30th.
Well, you got to do all the little things right, and no matter how fast your car is, Clint, you got to do all the little things right in order to win these races.
Kyle Busch held 2 fingers out the window and then 3 fingers. Not sure what he was signaling to Christopher Bell behind him. Well, let's find out how this is going to end. Kyle Larson, Ross Chastain, Reddick and Blaney in row 2, Hamlin, Logano, Elliott, Truex, green flag.
Looking to the inside. Reddick was going for it. Blocked by Larson. Now he's moving up.
3 wide, 2 rows deep, right behind the leaders.
Big run coming.
Wow, 3 Toyotas on the bottom. Push comes to shove.
Chastain on the outside, holding tough, off of 4.
For the lead.
Well, and that's what everybody else wants to see. They want to see Ross Chastain hold that 5 car up because they know that if he gets too far away, it'll be tough to catch him in this shorter run.
Chastain bottom to top as they enter turn 1.
Comes Denny Hamlin looking in that middle.
Still a lot of 3 wide.
And we know that Ross Chastain isn't going to go down without a fight. We've seen it every week. We've seen him do whatever he has to do in order to put himself in position to have a chance to win. So Kyle Larson clears him. Now these other guys need to get going.
They were 4 wide for about 12th coming off turn 4. Still battling all the way through the field. Reddick, Hamlin side by side for 3rd. Trying to gain on Chastain. And they have closed it up to 2nd place. Noah Gragson restarted 13th. He's up to 6th and charging.
See Denny get tight in the wake of Chastain on that outside. Here comes Reddick on the bottom.
There you go, Clint. You see Noah Gragson on the outside of Martin Truex Jr. there. He's had a great few laps here in order to put himself in position.
That car has great takeoff speed. All weekend long, all the Stewart-Haas cars were fast. Teammate as well. You see Gibbs bouncing back from his pit stop. He was slow in the pits because he doesn't have a 1st gear. Hard to get that car out of the box. Lost some spots.
Blaney to the inside on Hamlin. That'll be 4th place.
Well, and here we go with Blaney again.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they figure it out. They put themselves in position. They work on their car all day and show up at the end of these races and give themselves a chance to win.
You know what they call those? Champions.
Four different leaders, 3 different lines through turns 3 and 4.
There's 2 tires on Chastain. He's still making it work. He's
heard him get tight right there.
Got tight off the 2 on the exit. Had to lift.
Larry, we're coming to 20 laps to go.
If I look at the last 4 Las Vegas races, all with the Gen 7 car, the average of the last caution, lap 249, 18 to go. In the last 2 spring races has ended in overtime. We're right now 20 to go.
So overtime, a distinct possibility.
Well, yes, I like what Larry's saying there as a fan, but if I am Ty Gibbs, I do not want a caution. I need this green flag run. I know I don't have 1st gear in the pits. That's going to be a hindrance. If I have to pit, I need to be out here and make up the difference on this racetrack. That's my only way to get a good finish.
Currently 6th. Suarez going all the way downstairs on Austin Dillon and Chase Elliott. That'll be for 10th. Kyle Larson 1 second up on Tyler Reddick.
And that's what we've seen most of the day. We've seen Kyle Larson kind of stretch that lead out in the first parts of these runs, and as the run will go on, Tyler Reddick starts to get a little bit closer, even out, and even surpass him on speed. Jamie?
How about Ross Chastain, guys? Remember they had that penalty before the race today. He had to start in the back, and I talked to Phil Surgeon, his crew chief. He said, we're not worried about it. This style of track is our bread and butter at Trackhouse. That combined with Ross Chastain at this track, he got his 1st career Xfinity Series win here. He said, we're going to be good today. They had to take a gamble to get this track position, but if they can finish in the top 10, that's a win.
Well, that gamble includes the 23 laps he has on those left side tires so far. Brad Keselowski sniffing around the top 10. And the first half of the race, you would not have called that. This is Brad's best running position today. He was up in 12th for a little bit here, restarted 16th. Trying to battle Austin Dillon and William Byron there for a finish in the top dozen.
Grinding it out. Top 10 would go a long ways with this race team.
Especially with his teammate Chris Buescher being the only car out of the race today.
How about Noah Gragson? Great run.
And he's not done going forward yet.
Time's right.
He's better than the one. Those guys on the 10 car have done a great job adjusting their car today. And you know, look back to the start of this race and think about how he did in qualifying and everything that happened there with the speed. They've done nothing but go forward today. And this is exactly what they need, a good solid run, as we see Blaney go to the outside of Ross Chastain.
Well, this is Gregson's hometown race. Clint, when you raced in Kansas, or Kevin, you in California, was a little extra pressure, maybe a little extra incentive because of the people you knew were there, had followed you your whole career.
Yes and yes. I always wanted to run well, always fun to see, you know, fans, right? People that watched you race every Friday night down the road at Lakeside Speedway. You run into that guy. I remember vividly seeing those guys that were there when you started and was certainly there at the end. Always fun to come back home. Nothing feels better.
Chastain may be about to get swallowed up here. Remember, he has those older left side tires against the cars he's racing with. Guess nobody told Ross.
Yeah, well, these guys racing side by side has just kind of bunched them up behind them and allowed a couple of those cars to creep up on him.
How about Tyler Reddick? He's moving around trying to figure this thing out. Is he going to run him down? He is closing the gap, folks. It was a 10th faster that last lap. See if he makes this outside line work. He rimroad out down here in 3 and 4 last time. There it is.
Well, we saw this the last run, Clint. We saw, like we said, Kyle Larson took off, and then Tyler Reddick gets up against the fence and starts to drive up towards Kyle Larson. But it seems like when he gets inside those 4 or 5 car length distance, it's like he can't get any closer.
Well, is that him catching him, or is that Larson just managing the situation in the gap?
Yeah, and
a little bit of both, probably.
I think that's probably a little bit of both. It seems like Kyle, once he gets close enough, Kyle kind of takes back off and does what he needs to do.
There's Larson answering the call.
Yes.
Moved up, changed his line, but look at the gap. Reddick really closed on that bottom.
Gap gone.
Yes,
Reddick
sir.
was a 1/10 and a half faster the last lap. And on this lap,
a lot faster.
He is 2 1/4 of a second faster.
Got it race, boys.
Well, now it's a cat and mouse game, and you see Kyle Larson go down to the bottom of the racetrack, and that's not what Reddick wanted to see, because he gets arrow tight, and now it's a cat and mouse game. All right, you're going to run high, I'm going to run high. You're going to run low, I'm going to run low. So,
well, remember, both stages today ended with Reddick trying to pass Larson for the lead. Just the position we're in right now as we come to 10 to go.
Got back away from him, and just like you said, cat and mouse game. Larson moved around, took his arrow away from him down there in 1 and 2, created a gap. Now he's fastest.
And watch this entry into 3. Kyle Larson has this big lazy arc going into 3, trying to stay in front of that 45 car of Tyler Reddick as long as he can so that the front end doesn't turn well.
That's exactly what you were talking about, the arc. Look at it getting into the corner. Look at the run. Now,
one lap car ahead of
Here comes the lap
J.J.
car. I was looking to see if that was his teammate, Bubba Wallace, to see if he was going to help him again.
Nope. Yaley up and out of the way.
Larson's doing a good job managing the line, taking the air off of him. That untimely caught him on the exit of the corner. That hurt Tyler Reddick. Once you said it, Kevin, once you get into that gap, right, and you get into the bubble, it's hard to get the job done.
But the thing I will say is Tyler Reddick, as this run goes, that top in 3 and 4, he's going to get a little braver and a little braver because he knows he's running out of laps. And if he starts to scuff the wall or has something happen, that's okay at this point.
Tyler Reddick's hungry. He's an aggressive race car driver. He's going to put it on the line. 8 to go.
Ryan Blaney finally got past Chastain for 3rd place. Ty Gibbs 5th, Noah Gragson 6th. Things starting to sort out here. Hamlin and Truex fighting for 7th right here. Otherwise, the top 10 pretty stable. Although 5th place beginning to close up. This is for 7th. Half a second is the gap.
Oh my goodness. That's a great shot.
That's on the fence right there. That is commitment is what that is.
He is one of the best at doing that. He and the guy that he's chasing, Kyle Larson, are one of the best at running up next to the wall. And Kyle Larson just lost another 10th to Tyler Reddick. And I think a lot of that has to do with the lap car that is in front of Kyle Larson. It's forced him to change his line. And for about the last lap and a half, he's had to deal with that.
Who's that lapper? Look at the lapper. It's Bubba Wallace, guys. That's Reddick's teammate. Will he give Kyle Larson fits? He's going to let him go. Probably the right thing to do. Now let's see if he can help Reddick like he was earlier. Maybe he can push him.
And maybe that's why Bubba Wallace backed off to get in the position he was in before, trying to get Reddick back to Kyle Larson.
Well, it would be dirty if you went up and got in the way of Larson in the front. It would be. But if he could go behind him and push him down the straightaways the way he was earlier, hey, that's a teammate.
Can't catch him.
Nope.
Nope.
It's going to be in Reddick's hands. He's going to have to figure this out. He's doing everything he could do. He is on the fence, full commit.
And that's where he's going to have to make up the time, is in 3 and 4, because really in 1 and 2, he's not making up much time. He's going to have to figure something out on the big end down here in 3 and 4.
Larson's your winner that lap for sure, 92 to a 99.
Yeah, and where Larson is running in the middle of the racetrack just doesn't allow Reddick to be able to make up the distance that he needs to through 1 and 2. He did a good job that lap of just maintaining the gap, and here's where he needs to gain in 3 and 4.
He caught him big time off of 2. Big run down the backstretch. See if he can carry some more momentum. Got a little bit tight on the exit. He's close, folks.
Reddick gained a little in 1 and 2 last time by, maybe half a car length.
Yes.
3 to go.
76 to a 94. Look at him moving out. Moving around. Larson moving up, taking that air off of him. He's catching him. He's there.
Yeah, and Tyler Reddick has figured out a little bit through 1 and 2 where he's running up the racetrack about 3/4 of the way.
He's blocking. He's going to move up. Reddick is committed to that fence. Can he get to his outside? Gets a little bit tight here. The race is on.
2 laps to go.
Big time took his line there. He shot up the racetrack.
He tried to surprise Kyle Larson right there by going low, and Larson saw that in the mirror and was able to pull that car down the racetrack. But Tyler Reddick didn't lose a lot of time right there, so he still didn't lose the race.
Blaney a distant third, but uncontested.
This one's going to hurt him.
Yeah.
Here they come. Off turn number 4. Twice Larson and Reddick have finished 1-2. Larson the winner both times. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank.
And that was all Kyle Larson putting his car in the right spot in front of Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick went to the bottom of the racetrack and he lost all that momentum.
This whole race has been all Kyle Larson. You put that kid behind the wheel of a race car like this at Hendrick Motorsports and he will get the job done. Old-fashioned butt whooping all day long. Kyle Larson.
2 of the best in the business come off turn number 4. Reddick got within a car length, but Kyle Larson scores his 24th career win for Rick Hendrick and Chevrolet.
How about Ty Gibbs coming back up and getting the top 5 after the day he's had? Chad Stain, that gamble paid off, 4th place. And Blaney, 3rd, champion, grounded out.
Noah Gragson, 6th, great run. Truex ahead of Hamlin for 7th. Pole sitter Joey Logano and William Byron, the top 10.
That was a rough top 10 for William Byron. He was all over the place on this racetrack today. Pretty much every position at one time. Big win for Kyle Larson. You do not want to give this team confidence this early in the game.
Great job, 5 teams. Larson, you drove a heck of a race, man. Proud of you. Proud of all you guys. Tyler, great job. Thanks everybody back in the shop. Great job all around.
The last 5 times that Kyle Larson has swept both stages, he also won the race, including today.
Taking care of business.
7th career win on a 1.5-mile track for Larson. Hendrick Motorsports now 2 out of 3 for this young season. Byron at Daytona, Larson in Las Vegas.
Fixing to see about a half-mile long burnout.
And Chevrolet continues its string of victories, 3 for 3 in 2024.
They've had quite the season to start with in all 3 divisions here in NASCAR.
Tyler Reddick got within a car length with 2 to go, but could get no closer.
How about that burnout for the fans all the way down? Whole front straightaway. Kid's getting good at him, isn't he?
He's having plenty of practice.
That's right. Good day for Reddick. Can't hang your head on that. That's a heck of an effort by that race team, that race car driver. That's hard to do up against that fence like that. Well, he gave it his all.
He's going to go back and watch this a little bit and probably analyze that. I think going to the bottom those last couple laps, I feel like Kyle Larson was going to go wherever he was by driving in the mirror, but I feel like through 3 and 4, the top line, I feel like that was going to be the place that he needed to be, because it didn't seem like Kyle wanted to go all the way up next to the fence, because he didn't, when he did block it before, he didn't go all the way up there. So
I think he just misread Kyle.
Yeah.
I think he thought he was going to go high, and right at the last minute he went to low, and unfortunately didn't work out. But man, what an effort by Tyler Reddick.
And the 3 manufacturers each put a car in the top 3 and the next 3. Chevy, Toyota, Ford, Larson, Reddick, Blaney. Then Chastain, Gibbs, Gregson, Chevy, Toyota, Ford. So parity? Yes. Kyle Larson came in here as a pretty overwhelming favorite and did not disappoint.
Probably going to win 4 or 5 dirt races this week too somewhere. Here comes Owen, his son. Good job, Dad.
How about that?
I love it. That's awesome.
That's great.
Jamie,
oh, yeah. Get him on your feet, Owen.
What a great family sport.
It absolutely is. Kyle Larson gets his 3rd win at Las Vegas, and what a dominant performance. He sends Owen up to get the flag for him. What a day for you. I mean, you guys just had a smooth race start to finish, but take me through the last 10 laps, and you're looking in the rear view with Tyler Reddick as he's closing on you.
Yeah, no, I knew Tyler was going to be the guy to beat from the first stage. You know, he was really fast there, and I was hoping those guys were going to get racing a little bit longer behind me, because I felt like it was going to time out to where, you know, he was running really hard and getting the toe to catch me at the end. And thankfully was able to air block him a couple laps and get him tight. And I thought him and Bubba were going to get working together again to build a run, but so I was happy that didn't happen. But all in all, such a great job by this Hendrick Cars Chevy team, and just their execution, pit road, restarts, all that was great. So cool to get a win here at Vegas again, back to back, swept all the stages again, so can't ask for much more.
Congratulations, Kyle Larson wins big at Las Vegas. Now he'll celebrate with his kiddos.
No, you can't ask for much more than that, guys.
No, you can't. And that celebration right there is the best. Regan?
Well, Tyler Reddick, the other side of the battle for the win there. You had it up against the wall. Looked like you had forward momentum going at the end of the race there, and then it comes up just a little bit short. How frustrating is that?
Yeah, it's just the name of the next-gen racing game, right? You get the lead, you got to hold on to it, and yeah, Kyle did a really good job there of pretty much taking away every option I had to close the gap. So, yeah, he was, you know, he seemed pretty good in the middle, and I was obviously really good on the bottom, and he just never let me have it, right? So I kept trying to run higher and higher, and, you know, he was kind of running right in the middle of the racetrack there. Was kind of pretty efficient to block both lanes. So every time I kind of got close, you know, I mean, we're running just wide open enough in turn 1 and 2 that, you know, he could kind of defend pretty well. So it's frustrating. I feel like we were never up front really all day long until it got to the stage end. So yeah, we had a really good Nasty Beast Toyota Camry, and you know, just stupid mistakes on pit road. You know, same shit, different year, right? Like, it's kind of frustrating. So we'll continue to work on it, but a good rebound for our team today.
Thanks, Tyler.
Oh, that kid's a future champion right there.
Certainly frustrated. Yep. Gave it his all.
And maybe one of these kids too, as they celebrate with Dad, Kyle Larson, the winner in Las Vegas. After sweeping both stages, he fights off Tyler Reddick for the win.